Yeah. Folks, I'm audible right now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Any old batch folks joined today? I know we post only for 6 to 7 batches. That's it. Because we usually put all the
Hi,
batches.
Sai.
Yeah. Who's it? Sorry.
Hi,
Yes,
Sai. Good morning. How are you?
Deepak. How are you doing?
Manjunath here, Sai.
Hey, Manjunath.
Yes,
How
Hi
are you?
Aditya, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good,
Good.
doing good.
Hi, Sunesh.
Hi
What?
Aditya, how are you?
Good, Sunesh.
Hi,
How are you?
Adit.
Hey, hi,
Yeah,
Aditya.
good.
So
Hi,
Manjunath,
Hi, Sai. Good morning.
Yeah.
been,
Hi,
Manjunath, I think it's been 1 year, 1.5 years you joined the company
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, Sai, it's been 2.5 years.
2.5 years
I
you
was
joined.
actually working in
You're,
startup and a startup I
yeah,
have
yeah.
joined, and it is like a whole end to end. I only managing this entire big data thing with the help of the thing which you have thought. Apart from that one, I have not referred anything. Only the thing which you have thought in class, those things only I ran my show for 2.5 years.
Good to know, Manjunath. Prem is your friend, right? No.
Yeah,
Prem.
sorry.
Prem is your friend? No. Correct?
No, Abhijit is
Abhijit, yeah, Abhijit is your friend. Correct,
yeah,
correct. Abhijit
yes,
is also doing good, if I'm not wrong. He
yeah,
got that
yeah,
time itself the
yeah,
offer. Yeah.
yeah,
Thanks,
right.
Manjunath, for joining. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
thank you, Sai.
Hi, sir. Shaila here. How are you?
oh, Shaila, how are you, Shaila?
Yeah, I'm good.
How it's going on? I mean, it's been,
It's
I mean,
very
you got,
well, going very
I
well.
mean, you joined around 7 months ago? No, 6, 7 months
Yes,
ago.
yes, yes.
Oh, wonderful, Shaila. I think Priya should have been putting the status, like she should have been updating how that work. Anyways,
Yeah.
so good to know. Welcome back for today's session. Yeah,
Thank
how is
you.
it going? All good? Which project you got? I mean, at least I don't want to ask the project. What you're working on right now? Which?
FS with PySpark
Mm-hmm. Okay. Good
and
to know.
yeah, and Unix scripting.
Next, good. Wonderful, Shaila. Wonderful. I'm happy to see your growth. Really happy to see your growth.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. It's
Thank you.
all because of
Uh,
the course and the support.
No, mashallah. See, ultimately, it's your efforts. See, usually folks say my course and everything, but ultimately, it's your efforts. You see, having a gap, you got an offer and sustaining on it. It's not so simple, Shaila. Anyway, very happy for you. Thanks for
Hi,
that.
Thank you,
Sai.
Sai. Thank you.
This is Bunny from
Bunny.
32.
Man, I
How are
have
you?
to tell you, I have about Bunny's story actually. Like Bunny, like whenever a person calls me or who are the gap, I usually get a call. I used to say, hey, there is a person known as Pannappa. He doesn't have any knowledge. He used to work in security. So finally he got a job. So whole the story I usually say, man. So thanks for joining today after a long time. Yeah, it's been almost a year, right, Bunny? 2 years you got an offer in
Uh,
1.5 years.
uh, 1.5 years, Sai.
1.5 years. So good to
Yes.
see you, man. Yeah, thanks for joining.
Hi, Sai.
Yeah.
How are you?
Thank
Rishi.
you, Sai.
Rishi. How are you,
Yeah,
Rishi?
yeah,
All
I'm
good.
good, good, good. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything good.
Yeah. Thanks for
So
joining,
going
Rishi.
ahead. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
Fine, folks. Thanks for joining all the old batches. See, we put only to the selected batches. Thanks for joining today. Because like last time, we could not able to handle that. If you post that hosted message everywhere in all groups, it would be quite hard for us to manage things. So we didn't put all the groups. Only to selected groups I have put today. Thanks for joining all of you for this first airflow session. As I promised, every batch, any new topic that comes into picture, I always inform this to old batches so that they can also come and learn it, right? So for every kind of session, any kind of a new topic that goes on, as market expects more, we expand more. As simple as that to say, right? You know that kind of uh, popularity on airflow is quite high, isn't it? Old batch folks, maybe who already started working, you might be heard about this airflow everywhere, right? Basically, it's a frequent word. So from batch 40, we are introducing airflow. That would continue as a part of our curriculum, right? So, and as part of 40 and 41, we're also having GitHub actions. We thought of handling Jenkins, but we thought of eliminating Jenkins and we completely sit with GitHub actions. So, as part of today's session, I know a few of the folks joined last time itself, The pipeline is going to be the same. There's no change in the pipeline. 3 sources, data extraction, data pulling, data putting into some intermediate area, writing into S3 finally. So the work is going to be the same, but the entire automation, the final automation happens through Airflow. The scheduling happens through Airflow completely, right? That's what we are aiming for today's session. Hope this would help for the old batches also, right? Yeah, so this particular folks, and also if you have the same people from the same batch, kindly do not allow, I mean, kindly don't share them personally about the meeting details, because we put only to the selected batches, only for the selected folks, not for all the announcements group, not all the common groups, because not to redundant with the crowd and with the people. So as we had a lot of challenges last time. So yeah, so thanks for joining all of you right now. Let's get started. I don't want to kill much of our time. Batch 40. Are you there? 40? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Current active.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Folks, one kind request to the entire batch 40. Since the old batch folks already aware of the whole concepts about the automations, end-to-end pipelines and everything. This session, since you are new to this session, I mean new to this end-to-end pipeline sessions, it may quite hard, but I'll try to make it as simple as possible. I'll try to repeat multiple times. I'll try to say it many number of times, and then we'll take things forward. But the only request is, you remember you used to sit in second session. You don't know what is Spark. You don't know what is Hive. You don't know what is Scoop. You don't know what is Wi-Fi. You don't know what is Cloud. But you just concentrated on the pain. You remember that situation? The second session, batch 40, second session. Okay, data has been extracted, Walmart story.
Yes.
You have to have this session like that. Yeah, right now you're technically better than that time, but kindly don't feel the heaviness. Understand the paint very well. All right. Understand the paint very well. Understand the execution results very well. Don't too much understand on how I'm executing it, because I have to execute 2 to 3 times for your batch. Tomorrow also we are planning quite deep dive on this particular topic. Old batch folks who join, like you can also join tomorrow, basically, if you want, right? You can also join and get things done. But the only request to the old batch folks right now I have, pipeline which we executed is going to be the same, but the way we are going to automate through Airflow, that's quite important. Cloud is absolutely ready right now, right? Folks, S3 is ready for you today. AWS S3 is ready for you. EMR clusters are ready to get tuned, right? Snowflake is also ready. We also have Snowflake right now. Snowflake data source. As usual, we usually use a common web API for everything. Last but not least, what is this? Ultimately, we are going to see the web page. What is this web page? Airflow.
Airflow.
So that's the final goal for all of us. So how we start today? We start with very basics. We start with very layman understanding. Old batch folks, please bear with me. You know my way I teach. So please bear with me. I'll go from beginning, because we have to consider beginning all beginners also. And we are going to please update name with a phone number. Old batch folks also, because unless until you don't stay till the end of the session, we are not going to send we'll send the entire packages only. We are going to send only personal chats. We are not going to send it in the announcement group or common groups. And also, one sec, please. One sec. One sec, please. Yeah. Sorry, folks. Yeah. So, folks, so this is a whole pipeline we are going to open right now. So you can enjoy the session, right? I'll take it to the mere real time today. All right. So batch 40 folks, please don't feel so heavy about it. Just see the pain, concentrate on the outputs. I'll try to iterate multiple times. I'll try to put everything multiple times, but please concentrate. We are going to touch the hilltop. All right. So the same automation what we are going to do today to the whole procedure of entire pipeline, you can happily say the whole pipeline in your interviews. But remember, you should be more and more careful. You should be more and more focused, because when you start explaining things in the interview, they slowly try to dig a bit. They'll try to understand you well. Some questions are not mandatory, but some questions are mandatory. That will differentiate tomorrow, because for old batch I already gave through gold video, through the project messages, I already gave that. However, right? So this particular automation is quite important ultimately to our sessions. Just ensure on that, folks. All right. Perfect. Let's get started today. All right. All are you ready? All the batch folks are ready. Ready?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Perfect. Batch 40. Focus. The only worry is batch 40, because old batch folks know the entire pipelines already. But only the worry I have right now with the old batch, sorry, current batch folks is don't feel heaviness. I'll make it as simple as possible. Right. Now, what is a pipeline we are going to execute today? All right. So it's quite a same pipeline what we have executed last time in for previous batch when batch 39 was handling, but final orchestration and the final end-to-end pipeline automation is done through Airflow today, right? So what we are going to do right first in this whole pipeline, folks, I would like to put the entire data pipeline right now, right? Let me put the entire data pipeline. See, this is my entire, this box I'm going to fill with entire data pipeline today. Okay. Please focus right now, folks. I'll explain what we are going to have an agenda for today's session. Right. Let's understand whole architecture once. Let's understand whole architecture once. Then requirements, then execution, then right testing, then Airflow automation. This is agenda for today's session. We're going to have the whole architecture session once, then the requirements, then the execution, then we'll test the execution, then we'll finally go with Airflow automation. All right. It's quite a simple architecture though, but you need to concentrate how we are going flow to flow, right? Architecture is very simple. Data pipeline I'm going to explain is going to be very, very simple, but you have to keep remembering each and every module we are going to handle today, right? Hope that helps to all of you right now, correct? So have a check, right? All of you. Now, what is the whole architecture we are going to have, right? These are the components of today's architecture, right? We are going to have AWS S3. We are going to have AWS EMR, Spark, ultimately it's our processing tool, Snowflake as a source, Web API. Usually all batch folks knows what is a Web API use, and ultimately Airflow orchestration. So these are the components we are going to discuss today for today's data pipeline automation, right? It will be definitely fun by end of the session. Please focus to the maximum. Batch 40 folks, double your focus, please. Double your focus. No diversions, no deviations, no environment issues. You, me, and my screen. Ready, folks? Now coming to the whole architecture. I'd like to say the whole architecture once. All right. All batch folks, can you put us joined in their respective groups, please? Please put us joined in the respective groups, please. Please put us joined in the respective groups, please. All of you, please put us joined in the respective groups. If it is not opened, it will be opened shortly. All batch folks, 39, 40, 38, all batch folks, please put us joined in all the respective groups, please. We are respective groups. right? Because then only we'll be sending you the code and everything. So it depends on your join only. We'll be putting you the code and entire automation zip will be sent only to you who put as joined, right? So please check. All of you, please put as joined in all the respective groups, please. Either that could be 40, 39 or 38 or else your daily connect or whatever, right? Please put as join in the respective groups. Yeah, thanks for folks for putting, because unless until you don't put as join, we cannot track the attendance, right? So please consider. All right, fine, folks. Let's get started now. Yeah. Now, with respect to this whole architecture, right? What is the sources we have? What are the targets we are going to handle and everything? Let me. Madhu, this could be the last time, Madhu. I'm handling you 2 times. This could be last time is 32 batch, Madhu. Last time. I tolerated you twice. Right? So please concentrate with the meeting. Others, if others are getting affected, you will be signed out. Please handle meeting with care. Rules will never change. Yeah. Now have a check here, folks. Now, this is a data pipeline we are going to create. Focus. In our data pipeline, we have 3 sources. Same pipeline, old batch, folks. Batch 40, this could be new for you, but that's okay. Any 41 folks joined, I suggest not to have in the session because it will be overwhelming for you. Any 41 folks joined, you can join or you can leave. It's up to you, but it's better not to join. It's better not to join. You have a session another 5 to 6 hours. 41 folks, please take care. Now, coming to the pipeline. As usual, we are going to have 3 sources. All right. One among the sources is going to be S3. S3 is our first source. All right. And we are going to have Snowflake as our second source. All right. First, see the outline architecture, folks. Just understand the outline architecture, right? And the third source is going to be Web API, right? The third source is going to be Web API. Now, our actual data is sitting in each and every environment right now. The source data is sitting in S3. Another source data is sitting in Snowflake. The third source data is a Web API data. Are you clear so far? All of you here? With so far at least? Yes?
Yes, sir.
3 sources. Now, in this whole, because I want to consume data from all 3 sources, right? First. Now, what we are going to do, who will consume the data here? Data will be extracted using one and only who it would be, obviously. It could be Spark, right? It's going to be only Spark. So we'll have Spark jobs who would consume the data. All right. We have Spark jobs who would consume the data from all 3 sources. Concentrate, folks. I'm slowly getting into architecture view. I have sources in S3, Snowflake, and Web API. I'm going to run a Spark job to consume data from each and every 3 sources and write the intermediate data to, hope old batch folks know, we're going to write the intermediate data to S3, right? We are going to write the intermediate data to S3. This is the intermediate data, right? So this is how this is not the entire pipeline. Kindly hold on, I'm coming, right? So right now in this whole automation, we have 3 sources, S3, Snowflake, and Web API. I'm going to start a Spark jobs with the 3 Spark jobs, and we are going to write the data to Amazon S3, right? We'll do this. Once Spark write the data to S3, all right, we'll trigger another master Spark job, right? Hope everyone remember that. We are going to trigger another one master Spark job, which is a final master job, right? we are going to trigger one master Spark job consuming all three sources, right? We are going to consume all three. Spark will read all three sources, right? Maybe this is a right arrow. Okay. It will consume from all three sources, right? And once it processes it, it finally writes the data to, right? To, again, the final destination is going to be S3. All right. This is our entire data pipeline we are going to execute today. All right. Now, last but not least, once the entire data automation is triggered, once everything is available, right? Once entire data automation is triggered, ultimately, the whole architecture, we are going to do what? The whole architecture we are going to automate through what?
Apache.
Yes. Folks, understood the end data pipeline we are going to execute today? Yeah.
Right.
Batch 40 folks, you understood so far?
Yes,
Right?
yes, sir.
So understand this. Tomorrow we'll go very deep. Batch 40 folks. Tomorrow we'll go very deep. Because batch 40, since you are new, I have to reiterate it again and again. So definitely I'll reiterate it by tomorrow. But please focus very base architecture, folks. It's nothing so tough here. Concentrate. One final time iteration I'm giving you. So totally I have how many sources with us? We have totally three sources.
Three sources.
From this source, I'm going to trigger three Spark jobs, which would consume data from all three sources and write the intermediate data to S3. It will write the intermediate data to S3. Once, after writing the data to S3, we are going to consume all the three sources, all the three written intermediate data to S3. We'll write one final job. We are going to run one final Spark job, right? This one final Spark job, which would read all the intermediate data from S3 and write the data to final S3, right? But the whole entire orchestration automation at the final will be done by whom? Will be done by Airflow. Clear? So far, all of you understood the data pipeline? Yeah, so far. Now, concentrate here, folks. What we are going to do now, right? So I'll start with the simple base boss story. All right. We'll start with a very simple base boss story. We'll discuss on that, right? Then we take things further, right? Since many folks are beginner right here, we'll take with very simple boss story and we'll take things further. Fine, folks. Let's start it now. One fine day, right? My boss has put a mail, right? My boss has put a mail, right? Let's start with architecture again from the beginning. Right? One fine day, my boss has put a mail. Focus here, folks. I'll rebuild the architecture with the understanding now, with project requirement understanding now. Before it was just a simple architecture glimpse I just gave. Now, let's go bit on deep now, right? Now, focus here. One fine day, my boss has put a mail. What has my boss stated? Right? Sai, we have three sources with us, right? We have three sources with us. The three sources are S3, Snowflake, Web API. Concentrate. I started going into the requirement now. Sai, we have three sources with us. The sources are S3, Snowflake, and Web API. Next. Now we have to build a data pipeline. We have to build a data pipeline, right? And it's a quite, you can say it's a quite a big data pipeline. It's quite right, a big data pipeline. Now, can you validate the sources and tell me? That's a simple question. How many sources do I have? Batch 40, especially batch 40. How many sources do I have?
Sources.
Three
Sources.
S3,
S3 Snowflake Web
and
API.
Web API.
right? Three sources I have. So now what he asked finally, can you validate the source and tell me? Can you just validate the source and tell me to check whether you're going the right direction or not? Now what Sai did? Okay, let me validate that. Okay, let me validate. All right, concentrate, folks. Now what Sai did? Sai asked, give me the source details. Valid question, all of you here. Give me the source details. It's a very valid question. Folks, how many of you seeing this data pipeline for the first time? First time. How many of you here?
Me, sir. Me.
Old batch folks who did not attend last time, who are seeing this for the first time? Old batch folks, this data pipeline.
Sai
Old batch
Nikita.
folks- Okay. Old batch folks also did not come across this pipeline, right? Okay. Even old batch folks, I mean, others should have gone through without Airflow with Google functions, sorry, Lambda functions. But few folks of old batches is seeing this for the first time, right? Because last time for some batches we didn't post. Today we targeted that groups, some intermediate groups also, right? So focus here. Now, when boss asked to validate the sources, Sai asked, hey boss, can you send me the source details? Can you send me the source details? Now boss started listing down, right? Boss started listing down S3 source, Snowflake source, Web API source. S3 source, Snowflake source, Web API source. Now the first source is this. This is my source data. This is a place where you have the data for S3 source. This is your first source. Look at folks. Like see, first he asked us to validate the data. Now Sai started validating the sources now. Right? Check. Folks, all of you please put as join, please. Old batch folks. Only the folks who put as join will be providing you the today's mail code and everything. So please put as join. So this is our first source. Boss gave us the first source path. Then he gave us Snowflake also. Snowflake source. Check. This is a Snowflake source. Boss provided. This is a Snowflake source. Boss provided. Check, check, check. Right? Please check. This is a Snowflake source. Boss provided. Last source is a usual web API which we use, right? It's a usual web API. Old batch folks knows that. It's a URL. So three sources are given to Sai. First source is S3 sources provided, Snowflake sources provided, Web API sources provided. Folks, no work started yet. None of the work started yet. First, we are just verifying the sources. What are we targeting right now, folks? Tell me, what are we targeting right now? Only?
We are validating the source data.
Editing the sources.
Only validating the source data, right? Only validating the source data. So I'm talking about these people, right? I'm talking about these people. Only sources, correct? All of you. I'm talking about these three sources: S3, Snowflake, and Web API. Let's target these three. Now, what Sai did? Sai will go and start validating each and every source. Now, which source shall we validate? Shall we validate the source data? I mean, S3 data. Yeah. Now, Sai logged into S3 or AWS. Let me start from beginning. Okay. Let me start from beginning. Right. This is my AWS management console. First, I'm logging into AWS to check the first source. To check the first source. One sec, folks. Just keep removing them. Yeah, right. Just keep removing them. Right. This is my AWS Management Console. Here I have my first source. Which source I have in this AWS? Which source I have in the AWS?
S3.
S3. So I am going to S3, right? I'm going to S3 now. Check, right? I'll search in S3. So S3, I have my first source in AWS, right? I'm going to S3. Now let's see the path, right? The path is S3, Liabuck, source, date, customer.csv, right? Please concentrate here. So in this S3, which bucket he asked us to check? Which bucket he asked us to check? Tell me.
Work.
So I have some buckets here. This is my Amazon S3. In this S3, he stated Liabuck. Let's go in order. See, first S3 I have gone inside. Now I have to go inside what? Liabuck. Liabuck. Inside Liabuck, I have two folders. He asked me to target what? Source. SRC source. Inside it, I have a date. Seems it is today's date, isn't it, all of you? Actually, today's
Yes.
date.
Yes, I.
He has gone inside today's date. He can able to see what? File. Isn't it all of you?
CSV file.
CSV.csv. Let's see. We have an option to open. I'm opening this file, okay? It got downloaded, but that's okay. Sometimes it opens, CSV does open. It got downloaded. If I open customer data, did you see customer data? All of you here. How many columns do I have here? Tell me. Only two columns.
Columns.
This is our first source data. Understood, all of you? First source, right? Where does this first source sitting here? Where does my first source sitting here? In my S3.
Amazon.
Three.
Amazon S3. Now, can I mark this as, folks, validated? Can I mark this as validated? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I have gone to S3. I have gone to Liabuck under source folder under that under this date. I saw customer.csv and I have finally validated. First source green. Now let's go to which source? Snowflake. Right? Snowflake is the second source. He asked me to validate. Now he already gave the URL. Let's go to Snowflake and validate whether I have this table data or not. All right. Whether I have this table data or not. Right. So I've gone to URL, whatever my boss has provided. Right. Now, this is a username. Right. Let me go inside the username. So please focus here, folks. I'm logging into the portal what my boss has provided. Okay. Right. This is the URL. What it is asking me in Snowflake? Username, password.
Name, password.
He already gave me. This is the username. This is the password I have provided. Sign in. Right? Sign in. So I'm logging into Snowflake now. Snowflake is a cloud data warehouse tool where you can see the tables, you can query the data and everything. Right? Now, let's see. Right? This just look like an SQL. This is a second source validation, folks. This is a second source validation. All right. The second source validation. Now, have a check here. Right. Now, which database he asked me to check? Tell me, which database? ZeyoDB. Which schema? Zeyo schema. Which table? Source tab.
First tab.
Tab. So let's see the table. Select star from Zeyo So once I validated, sorry, SRC tab. So I'm checking the table data here. Let's see whether I have the Snowflake data or not. Right? So data is getting validated. You see the table data here, all of you? Snowflake data.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I have all the Snowflake data. This is a data table which my boss mentioned, you have the data. What is my first source, folks? What is my first source? Can you tell me? What is my first?
Amazon S3.
Amazon S3.
What is my second source?
Snowflake.
Snowflake.
Did you see the Snowflake table data also here? Actually,
Yes, sir.
yes. You have Snowflake table data also. Now what Sai did? Sai validated this table also. Can I mark it as validated, all of you?
Right.
Yes. Snowflake is also validated. Last but not least source, what is it? It's going to be
Web API.
Web
Web
API.
API.
Let's hit this Web API and check whether you have URL data or not, whether the data is getting generated. Yes. You see, did you see a JSON Web API? All of you? Basically.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All data is available. So three sources, I'm making it very clear. One is S3 source, next one is Snowflake source, the third one is Web API. So this URL, if you hit it, the data is coming up. So S3, so finally, all three sources are in my control. I validated it. All good. So far, everything is good. Can I mark it as good? All of you, three sources. Correct? So if you see the entire three sources, folks, so please focus on it. I'll go a bit deeper on the I'll go a bit deeper on the architecture level now, right? I have got finally three sources right now. One is S3 source I have validated, right? Snowflake source I have validated. Web API source I have validated. Now, all three sources are in my control. Can I mark like that? All of you, all three sources are in my control. Correct?
Yes, I.
Yes. All three sources are in my control. Wonderful. So far, all the sources are ready. Now, Sai put a mail back to boss, right? Sai put a mail back to boss. Boss validated the sources. Validated the sources. What's next? Right? Now, boss replied back. Sai, now the requirement is we have to trigger 3 Spark jobs initially. How many Spark jobs is saying? 3 Spark jobs, right? Here we have to trigger 3 Spark jobs. Totally 3 Spark jobs we have to trigger, right? Three Spark jobs we have to trigger. What these 3 Spark jobs will do? These 3 Spark jobs would consume data from all 3 sources and write the data to intermediate S3 location. What is saying? All these 3 Spark jobs will consume data from all 3 sources. Consume data from all 3 sources, right? Consume data from all 3 sources and write the data to intermediate S3. All right, intermediate S3. Right? Intermediate S3. Shall we complete this first? Shall we complete this first? Understood the first requirement, what we are planning to achieve right now. We ultimately have to consume data from all 3 sources using a Spark job and write the data to the intermediate S3 location. Intermediate S3 location. Are you clear so far? What I mean? Yep.
Yes, sir.
Now, Sai asked 2 questions. Number 1, right? Sai asked 2 questions. Number 1, very important. To which locations I have to write the data? Valid question, all of you? Valid? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
To which location I have to write the data? That's the first question. Immediately boss replied back, right? You have to write the, right? And see, he also added, see, check, sorry. To which location I have to write the data? Totally 3 questions. Imagine this are 2 questions. And what I have to process in it. See, I'll consume okay. I'll consume okay, boss. But what I have to process it. Customer data I see here. I see a customer data very, very well. This is my customer.csv. I saw the customer data. What I'm going to process using this customer data. I saw Snowflake data. What I'm going to process using this Snowflake data. I have random URL data. What I'm going to process using this random URL data. That's a question. Right? And where will I write the data? Sai not only asked the location. Sai not only asked the location. Sai also asked what? I'll write it okay.
What
But
to process?
what to process? See, why to process? What this Spark job will do? Just extraction writing? That's it. This guy only do that. This guy will do only, it will read and write. This guy only
Okay.
do read and write. What is the requirement? What is the requirement? What is the process each Spark job is going to do? Then boss replied back, right? Please check. What he replied back, right? Sai, S3 data. Once you consume S3 data, find the cumulative sum. All right. What is predominantly, if you ask me, you have to find the total sum of every user. What you have to get from this S3 data, you have to do which process? Total sum
Aggregation.
of every username. See, if you see the customer data for simple, beautiful beer, there is so much of amount collected. Yes or no, folks, actually? Yeah.
Yes, I.
What my boss is asking, for entire beautiful beer, how much amount collected? You understood, all of you? Basically,
Yes, I.
how much amount collected for beautiful beer? Similarly, for beautiful duck, how much data has been collected? How much money has been collected? That's the first source. So what we have to trigger a Spark job? The first Spark job should get triggered, right? The first Spark job should be triggered and get the total sum of every username, right? And write the data to a location known as, I'm writing the location here, okay? This location. Did you see he gave the location also, all of you, for S3 data, correct? See, once we consume data from S3, get the total sum of every username, and to which location I have to write the data? To this Leah Buck, test, date, total amount of data. Total amount data. Right? So, in simple words, what I'm going to do? The first job, once we trigger the data, right? We have to get what? With the first S3. First, we're going to do what? We're going to get
Total sum of every username.
total sum of every user. You understood the requirement? What we are going to do here? Yes. The first Spark
Sir.
job gets a total sum of every user. All right. Get the total sum of every user and write the location to which location? To this location. You're clear with the first requirement, all of you here, which location we are going to write. Got it? What I mean?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So the first Spark job will get the data from S3, do the total sum, and write the data to the destination path. Yes, what he's expecting here. In S3 same Leah Buck, we have another folder known as test folder. Did you see the test folder here, all of you? The same Leah Buck. Along with the source, you have the dest also. In this dest folder, he's expecting a date here. Inside the date, what he's expecting? Total amount, data. Correct? All of you understood the requirements so far? Yes? First source. Second source, right? Snowflake source. Once you read the snowflake source, get the total site count of every username. What is asking this time? Get what? Total, get the
Count.
site count, not the site. Yeah, put it as like this. Get the site count of every username. Get the site count of every username. So if you go to Snowflake, there is a username column. For the same username column, there is also column known as what? Tell me what? There is also a column known as what? Site.
Site.
They're in this requirement, they're asking, hey, for every site, for example, for beautiful beard, from how many sites he has logged in? How many sites does beautiful beard logged in? To get the site, who will help me? Which column will help me? Tell me. Site count.
Column.
Site count. So you have to get the site count of every username from Snowflake, and the data which you're going to write here is going to be this path, right? This path. S3, Leah Buck, test, date, and site count. So what we are going to do in this second job, we are going to get what in the second job?
Site count of every username in the Snowflake.
In the second Spark job, right? We get the site count of what in the second Spark job? We get the
Site count of every
of
username.
every username. We get the site count of every username from this Spark job and write the location to where? To the site count path. Which location I have to write the data? To the site count path. Folks, are you traveling with me? Yes. So, first Spark job will get the total sum of this whole process and write the data to intermediate S3 location. Next Spark job will get the data from Snowflake and do the site count and write the data to intermediate S3 storage, right? Last but not least, who is the last source I have? Tell me. Web API. What this Web API will do? Third source, okay? Once you consume from Web API data, see, what is the major issue with the Web API? Web API itself is a complex data, isn't it? All of you, actually.
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Web API itself is complex data. So what we are going to do right now, what my boss stated, read Web API, flatten it completely. What is the requirement we are going to do with respect to Web API?
Flatten the data.
We are going to flatten this data completely from Web API, right? The requirement is we are going to flatten this data. The requirement itself is flatten it completely. That itself is the biggest challenge as far as Web API is concerned, right? So you have to flatten this data completely, right? You have to flatten this data completely into using Spark and write to the intermediate location. Write to the intermediate location known as, right? S3, Leah Buck, test folder, customer API. So ultimately, you have to consume data from all three sources, process its own requirements accordingly, and flatten it completely, the third one, and write the data to which locations? Tell me. To the intermediate S3 location.
S3.
Make sense, all of you right now? Make sense what I mean? Yes?
Yes,
Basically.
sir.
Yes. So what my boss is expecting as a part of result, he is expecting inside desk folder. This is your desk folder, right? This is your desk folder. Inside desk folder, he is expecting one folder known as date 2020 24 06 29. A folder should appear. Once I go inside this folder, right? Once I go inside this folder, he is expecting 3 folders. What are the 3 folders he's expecting? Total amount data,
Total amount data, site
Total
count.
amount data,
Total
site
amount
amount,
data,
and
site
customer
type,
API.
site count,
and customer
customer API.
customer
API.
Customer API. So my boss is expecting under desk folder. I'm inside the desk folder. Okay. I'm inside the desk folder. From this desk folder, right? If you closely watch, I'm in the Layabug desk folder. Inside this desk folder, he's expecting a folder known as this name. Inside this name, we need 3 more folders. That's the first requirement. Folks, shall we complete this requirement first? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Shall we complete this requirement? Right. Now, all clear. My boss stated 3 sources. This is the requirement and this is the output. Then my boss replied back. Then Sai replied back. Right? Sai replied back. One sec, folks. Right? Okay. Very important question. Very important question. Where will I test my code? Where will I develop my code? Where will I deploy my code? Did you see the questions by Sai, all of you? Right? Where would be my Spark environment? Where can I open Spark Shell? Is it a valid question? So where I have to do my deployment? Right? All of you? Done? See, sources are okay, Sai. See, Sai is very clear with, okay, 3 jobs I have to trigger. 3 Spark jobs. S3 to S3. Snowflake to S3. Web API to S3. Requirements are also clear. I have to get the total sum of every username in S3. I have to get the site count from Snowflake. I have to flatten the Web API data. All this is okay. But where will I test my code? Where will I develop my code? Where will I deploy my code? Valid question, all of you here. Okay. Now, what my boss stated, boss asked, right? So in AWS, we have Hadoop Spark service. Look at the question, folks. So in AWS, we have Hadoop Spark service. You can create your own cluster and start the development. You can create your own cluster and start your development. So definitely I need what? Which environment I need ultimately? Which environment I need ultimately to start my development? Tell me. Which environment? I need Spark environment. We need Spark and Hadoop environment. But in cloud environment, what are we going to achieve? Right? Ultimately, it's AWS. I need Spark environment in AWS now because I have to trigger 3 jobs. Where will I have all these 3? Where will I have the Spark environment? Then my boss replied back, the Hadoop Spark service, right? Hadoop Spark service in AWS is obviously what? 40 folks answer me. Obviously what? We already saw that.
EMR.
EMR.
You have to go inside EMR, create your own cluster. Go inside EMR, create your own cluster. Immediately, Sai has gone, right? He typed EMR, right? In search box, he typed EMR. Managed Hadoop framework. Go inside EMR, right? Go inside EMR. It asked me to do what? It has asked me to do what? Create cluster.
Yes.
Now, I'm creating my own cluster, right? Dev cluster. It's in development. Dev cluster. Yeah, I need Spark, I need Hadoop, I need. Hive is not required. Do any of Hive? Not required. I just, these 2 are mandatory for. All right. We'll come to this key pair. So right now it's not the time. It's not right now. It's not the time. We'll come to the key pair. Okay. Don't worry about it. 40 folks, I mean. Okay. Create the cluster. So that's it. I created the cluster. I just triggered the create cluster. You saw that, all of you? I've filled all the details. Dev cluster. I selected whatever I want, right? I removed some instance groups, right? We'll come back. And I selected a key pair. Then I choose some roles, right? And finally, what I clicked at the right side. Tell me what I have
Create
here.
cluster.
Create cluster.
Create cluster.
So this create cluster will help us to create the cluster with whatever the details I have put on here, right? Just create cluster. I just triggered the create cluster. Already a cluster is created, right? Did you see one cluster is in the starting state? Did you say a cluster is getting started, all of you? First.
So,
Now, one quick thing I would like to tell you. Why am I starting a cluster now? Can anyone tell me why am I starting a cluster now?
To use the Hadoop environment with Spark.
I need what? I need a Spark development environment, isn't it? All of you?
Yeah.
I need a Spark development environment so that I can start building my own pipeline, so that I can start starting a code, because I got totally 3 sources. Requirement is very clear. Totally, I got 3 sources. Remember, folks. Now, 3 sources. Did I create these 3 sources, or it's already available? Tell me, is it already available, or did I create right? Already?
Already
available.
So before the cluster is getting created, folks, this will take 4 minutes. Meanwhile, I'll recap it. This will take 4 minutes right now, right? Meanwhile, I'll recap it. So 3 sources I have. Now the requirement is I have to trigger 3 Spark jobs. The requirement is I have to trigger 3 Spark jobs. Each Spark job would consume data from all 3 sources and write the data to intermediate S3. But what is the requirement? In the first source, I have to get what? Total sum of every username.
Every username.
And write the data to total amount data folder in S3.
Amount data.
Second one, I have from the second source, what I have to find? I have to find
To count the
Site
every
count.
username.
and write the
Site
data
count of
to
every
site
username.
count.
Site
And the
count.
last one is
Flatten the
Flatten the data.
Flatten the
Right.
data
Flatten
completely.
last one
data
is
and
I
write-
have to flatten this data, right?
Customer.
Flatten completely, right? And write the data to in the last
Customer API.
API.
customer API. Folks, are we good? Batch 40, are we good?
Yes, sir.
All batch folks, are you good so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right?
Yes, sir.
Check. So we'll complete this data pipeline development in first half. We'll see immediately with Airflow. Maybe I think it's almost done. Only the development I spent it. We'll do that, right? So 3 Spark jobs I have to trigger. So to trigger this Spark jobs, where are we triggering these Spark jobs? We are creating what ultimately?
Cluster. EMR cluster.
Which service is that ultimately? It is EMR.
Amazon ER services. EMR service.
Right? Amazon EMR service, right? This is a service where this service will avail us the Spark jobs, Spark environment. We can get a Spark environment in EMR service. Now, my Spark environment is available. My cluster is getting started now, right? My cluster is getting started. Now, my cluster has gone into which state right now? Into waiting state.
King state.
Waiting state. You know what does this waiting state mean? It is saying I am ready. What does that waiting state mean? I am ready. Start your work.
Ready.
I'm ready. Start your work. You're all set. Now, what Sai will do immediately? He will log into this cluster to start the development. Sai will log into this cluster to start the development. Now, don't worry how I'm logging in. AWS itself will provided me the DNS. So don't worry how I'm logging in batch 40. Don't worry. Just see how I'm logging. Fine. Folks, to which cluster did I just log in? To which cluster I just logged?
EMR.
EMR cluster is ready to use. I logged in using mobexterm and putty. I logged in using mobexterm and putty or putty, anything you can use. Now, my EMR cluster is ready to use. This is a place I have to do what? I have to do my development. What I have to do, folks? I have to do my development.
Development.
Now, it's time to start my development, right? It is time to start my development. Now, concentrate here, folks. Now, to start my development, what I have to use? I have to go to where to start my development? I have to go to Spark Shell, right? Now, I'm opening my Spark Shell. Focus, focus. 40 folks, okay so far, right? 40, okay, right? At least.
Yes, sir.
So, I'm opening my Spark Shell to start my development. Let's go one after other. All right. Let's go one after other. Right. Let's start development one after other. So, what is my first target to process? What is my first source to process? Tell me.
S3.
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 So, let's
Sum
process
of
the
every
first
user.
source now. Reading the data from S3, get the total sum of every username and write the data to the target location. Now focus. My Spark Shell is available, right? My Spark Shell is available now. Let's start the development, right? Well, df is equal to, right? Now let's start the development, folks. What is the source S3 data? We already have source S3, isn't it, all of you? This is my source S3, correct? All of you?
Yes,
This is
sir.
my source S3. Now concentrate here. Now I would like to read this data. Spark.read
Spark.read
format CSV.
format.
Option header true. I start my development, folks. I start my development. Header true. Dot load. First, I'm reading this data, okay? First, I'm reading this data. That's it. I'm reading this data. df dot show. First, let's see df dot show. Correct? All of you, are you with me so far? Is it df dot show?
Yes.
Yes. Now we have to do what right now? We have to do what right? I have to get the
Total
Total
sum
amount.
of every user.
total amount of
Of every username.
Aggregation.
Where AGGDF is equal to. Now I'm processing the data now. df dot write dot right. Sorry, df dot group by
Group by
username dot
username.
aggregate of sum of
Sum of amount.
amount as total. I'm just putting it as total. Right. I want to cast it also. Cast integer type as or alias
Yes.
total.
Total.
One sec. Import org dot apache dot sql dot
Even in this also we should import, right?
yes. Types dot underscore. Right? AGGDF. Now AGGDF is done. Sure. So I'm just processing the first source. Now I'm processing the first source. All right. Now let's see whether I'll get the first source. Folks, is this aggregated DF expected? All of you? Done?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
For
sir.
every username, I got what? For every username, I got what? I got the
Total.
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 Wonderful. So my code is working. Done. Now what I do? What is the final one? Once I find the total, I have to write the data to.
S3 intermediate.
Location.
I have to write the data to S3 location. AJJDF dot write dot parquet. Always,
Okay.
always your format should be what? Going forward.
Okay.
Always.
Parquet.
dot mode. Always maintain overwrite so that any hiccups we can solve it. Dot save. Right? To which location I have to write the data in S3? To which
S3.
location I have to write the data to?
Three.
S3? S3, Liabuck, and des folder. Here he is expecting the path. He's expecting a data. To which path he asked me to write the data? Tell me. To which path he asked me to write the data?
Current date and
This,
Amount data.
Destination
right?
date.
This is the path he's asking me to write the data. Correct? All of you? Correct?
Sai.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm writing this data shoot, right? I just triggered the write data command. All right. Now, the write has started right now. Let's see whether I can able to experience the write. Done. Folks, it is saying the write is completed. Did you see it has come back to the scalar shell? Yes.
Sai.
So,
Now check. Now I'll go back to my S3 and I'll
Refresh.
refresh this page and see whether we got the customer data. Sorry, total amount data. Ready? This folder. Folks, now look, go ahead. Leah Buck. This folder. There is a date created. Did you see a date?
yes, sir.
Then
Yes, sir.
there is a total amount. Inside the total amount, I got first parquet. Folks, did you see we achieved it? The first source write is completed. Correct?
Yes, sir.
The first write is completed. Wonderful. The first write is completed. Now, in my completion, can I mark it as completed here? All of you.
Yes, sir.
What does I'm marking here to this one? I'm marking it as completed. Right? I'll mark this as completed. Have a check. Right? I'll mark this as completed. This one is completed. This helps all of you. At least my diagram is okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So pathetic, right? So it is the first job is completed. Work done. The first job work is completed. It has read data from S3, written data to S3 to a target required location. I'll come out of my Spark shell. Done. Work done. Why I come out of my Spark shell? Tell me. Work is completed.
Completed.
What's the next work for us? What is our next work?
To get
Snowflake
data
Data from Snowflake.
and process the analysis
Read data
baby.
from
Storage
Snowflake. Write the
baby.
data to
icons, reasoning.
another S3 location. Right? Now, but S3 to S3 is okay. But if Spark is reading the data from Snowflake, what I need? If Spark is reading data from Snowflake, what I need?
The name.
Extra connector jars. Is it not I need an extra jars? All of you. You need extra jars. Remember, because Spark required an extra jars to connect to Snowflake, because by default, Spark doesn't have a default connector for Snowflake. So if you're connecting to Snowflake, you need what? Extra jars. But how will I get that extra plugin? How will I get the extra plugin? I told you in the gold video, what is it? You have multiple options. Either you can go with a fat jar or other you can go with the packages, isn't it, all of you? Remember I told about packages? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Right? If I open, right, I can go with packages. Hyphen packages. Right? So by default, Spark do not have a support for Spark connector to Snowflake. We need extra jar. That's the reason we're enabling what? What I'm asking to download from repository. What I'm asking to download from repository. Jar. Spark Snowflake jar I'm asking to connect. Now I'll open my Spark shell along with this package. I'll open my Spark shell along with this package. That's the beauty. See, it is downloading from online. Folks, did you see it got downloaded from online?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
The artifacts are downloaded. See, it is clearly stating what it is stating. It is downloading the modules. Now, what my Spark shell is doing? It is Spark shell is opening along with extra jars. Right, all of you? Understood?
Sai, could you please repeat once this?
What happened, Gaurav?
Sorry, how we are importing this using Maven.
Concentrate, please. Concentrate. I'm going very slow. Please concentrate, folks. I'm doing very slow. It's there in the gold video also. Please concentrate. I'm opening Spark shell along with extra packages. So how we do go with extra packages? Okay. Let's do one thing. How will I download from extra packages? Let's go to Maven repo. Spark Snowflake Maven. All right. Spark Snowflake Maven. All right. Now I go to this connector. So we have this Maven repository, right? Group ID and everything. So give this group ID. Anyway, we'll handle it later. See, first, just see this, right? I'm giving this artifact ID and I'm using version also, right? So if I give this, automatically my Spark shell will download jars from where? From Maven repo and Spark shell will
Repository.
right? Download its software. Fine. So finally it downloaded. So it's time to read what? It's time to read Snowflake, right? It's time to read Snowflake, right? Folks, before that, one sec. Folks, previous job completed, right? What is the previous job? Tell me. What is the previous job? It is
Spark to AWS.
S3 to S3. Now what
Yes,
I'll do immediately, since it worked, what I'll do immediately, I'll take what? Immediately.
Code backup.
Take a backup.
Right? Since it worked, I'll take the backup. Because the code is, I got the working code, right? Why to lose it? I got the working code. Perfectly, I got the working code, right? Perfectly, I got the working code. So I'm taking what out of it ultimately? I'm taking a backup, right? Now, this is working. And this is the import statement I have used. And this is my data. Last but not least, what I have done in the final, I've written data to. Listen, all of you, are you with me so far? Yes. What did I immediately do once the work is completed? Tell me, I took a
Backup of code.
backup of the code. Now, let's come to the next source now, right? Let's come to the next source. Now, my Spark shell, one sec. Spark. One sec. Yarn loss. I forgot the command. One second. Yarn list applications. Sorry, immediate. It didn't flash my head. Shit. One second. Memory is completely consumed. Yeah. Now Spark shell would be fast. I'll tell you what is it later. First, I have to come to that. I'll come to it Yarn applications later. See, it is very fast now, basically, right? So my Spark shell is opening to write what now? Which job is in progress now? It is Snowflake job, right? Concentrate here. Now it's time to open, read the data. Now I'll read the data from Snowflake and write it to S3. But before that, what I have to find? What is the process involved here? I have to get the site count.
Site count.
Site count. Folks, The code is already developed. All right. So don't worry about it. We'll come back to it later. Understand the pain. Understand the pain. Okay. Now I'm reaching to Snowflake. Right. I'm reaching to Snowflake. There is a command to reach to Snowflake. Spark, read, format, Snowflake. I gave the URL, option URL. Maybe let me put it this way. Understand this code? Let's see how many folks can understand this code. Very simple code, folks. Right? Spark, read, format. What is the format I have here? Tell me. Format is Snowflake. Option, URL, account, username, password, database name, schema name, role, warehouse, label.
Table name.
Folks, you understood how I'm reading Snowflake data now? Basically,
Yes.
same formula.
Yes, sir.
Same formula. Spark, read, format. All the options I gave. URL, account, username, password, database, schema, role. Everything I gave to Spark. Same formula I have provided. Spark, read, format. Format is Snowflake. Now, once I execute this code, right? Let me execute this code one more time. Right? I'll execute this code one more time. I'm asking to read the data now, right? That's it. It is showing it as read. Now, I'll read the Snowflake DF now. Let's see Spark read the Snowflake data frame or not. I'm giving snowflake.show. Let's see whether it will show you the entire Snowflake table. Entire Snowflake table. Folks, did you see the Snowflake table is coming up here?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
You are not given any path in load, right, sir?
It's not a path, right? Prem, kindly hold on, Prem. I'll come. It's not a file system, right? It's a data warehouse. So you have to give the credentials. Anyway. So, folks, I don't know what are you doing, Prem. I told also what the table I gave. Source tab, okay. Concentrate, folks, please concentrate. Now, SnowDF. So, folks, do my table is available now? Yes, sir. Basically.
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
So I gave all the details to it. When I gave spark.read.format Snowflake, URL is this, account, username, password, database, schema, role, warehouse, and the last one is table. This made the difference. You understood which table I'm going to consume? Tell me. Source tab.
Source
Right?
tab.
So whatever the Snowflake data we have, this entire table is consumed, isn't it? The entire table is consumed. See the column names also. ID, username, IP, create date, value. Same here. ID, username, create, value, score, region code, right? Region code, site count, sites also, status code, everything is available. From which source I have read this table? Tell me, where did I read this table?
Snowflake. Snowflake.
Snowflake, I read from Snowflake. I have read from Snowflake. So Snowflake data is available. Now, what is the requirement I have to do? Tell me. I have to get the site count.
Site count.
Site count.
Let's go to site count.
For every
Where
user.
site count is equal to SnowDF. Right? SnowDF. Site count is equal to SnowDF dot group by username dot aggregate of
Aggregation.
call
Count.
of aggregate of what? Sorry. Count of. Sorry. Count of
Yeah.
site
Site.
cast. Cast is not required. Count is always integer. And alias
Always. Alias. Site count.
CNT or okay, just go with counts. Right? Okay, let's go with site count. All right, let's go with site count. That's it. I'm processing the Snowflake data now. Site count dot show. Site count dot show. Let's see whether I'll get the counts now. Right? For every username, I need the count. For every username, how many sites that username was logged in? I'm getting that count. Did you see that, all of you? Big butterfly got how many counts? How many sites it has been logged in? 1098.
1098.
Beautiful
1098.
elephant, 1098. Black mouse,
1098.
961 sites.
961.
Right? Like black dog, 1102 sites.
1102.
Like that, every username we got the site count. You understood, all of you, right now? Makes sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Ultimately, I got the site count also. But which source I read this data? Tell me. I read the data from
Snowflake.
Snowflake. Using what? Using what I have read the data? Using my usual
Same
formula.
formula.
Same
Read
formula. Spark read format, Snowflake, URL, username, password, database, schema, table, done. Once I read this, Snowflake table got fetched, right? Snowflake data got fetched. And finally, I got what? Site count.
Site count.
Now, once the site count I fetched, where I have to write the data? Where I have to write the data?
S3 location.
S3 location.
Location, right? So once I fetch the S3 data, right? To which location once I process the Snowflake data, to which location I have to write the data? To
S3
something known
location
as
of site count.
site count. Now let's write the data, right? What is that AGGDF? Site count. Site count dot write dot format RK dot mode
Dot
overwrite dot
dot
save. Save. Okay.
Location.
Let's give the site count path. That's it, right? I gave the site count path. Now, this also completed. This is also completed, right? So the second source is also completed. Now I'll mark that second source is also completed. Done. If I go back to S3 and check whether I got in the desk folder, I have the same date here. If I go inside, I'll see what?
Count folder.
Site count. Did you see? Source data is also available now. I mean, Snowflake data is also available now. All of you.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Parquet is written. So, the second source data. First, we completed the first source. Now, which we completed right now? Tell me. We have completed the
Snowflake.
Snowflake is also complete. Am I marking good? So my marking is looking fine. All of you.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Work is completed. Snowflake one is also complete. What's the last source now? Web API. Right? Now, what I will do, he'll come out. See, development is completed. Shall we come out Sparkshell? Just for the namesake, okay? No.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Code backup.
right? But yeah. So what's very important right now? Once we read the data, folks, tell me what is very important right now.
Take
I have
backup
to
of
take
the
the
codes.
code backup. Remember, once Snowflake data is also done, I have to take a what? Backup. This is backup. I'm taking the backup of Snowflake data. This is the first line I have executed. Then this is aggregate data. I have this aggregated site count. And I took and I've written the data to. Okay, all of you backup is done? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Sai, any history command is there in Spark Shell to get the previous executing commands?
Shall I handle it first? Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Basir, you know it. Multiple times I stopped you in between. Kindly consider. It will deviate the understanding of the folks. I'll come. There is a questionnaire round. That time go with the question. Go in the flow, Basir, please. I never escape from any question, but you have to wait. Yeah. Now, first backup is ready. What is the first backup I took? Tell me. S3 source. What is the second backup I took?
Snowflake.
Snowflake. Perfect. What's the last one? What's the last source now pending? What's the last source?
Web API.
Web API. Right? Now let's go inside what again? To start my third source code. Let's go inside Sparkshell. Web API doesn't require any extra jars. Happily Web API will work. But my only worry is you'll get a panic out of it. Don't worry, okay? Don't worry. So which API I have to consume the data? Tell me, which API I have to consume the data? This
API.
This data I have to consume, convert into data frame, process it, and write it. You understood, all of you? Yeah?
Complex.
This complex data I have to read, I have to process, and I have to write. Don't worry, 40 folks, we have not covered this topic yet. Tomorrow is the topic, so don't worry, right? Now, I'll start my coding now. See, how will I consume it? Did you see we consumed it, all of you? Do you see that?
Yes, Sai.
Yeah, it consumed. Did you see that, folks? The entire data is consumed from this, right? Don't worry, Sai, how would it done that? I'll come back. We'll come back. We'll come back. Don't worry. Let me take the code backup of every line. Let me take the code backup of every line. Another backup, third backup, right? Let me take a code backup of every line. Now I have to flatten it completely, right? Now I have to convert into data frame now. Don't worry, this topic is not yet covered for 40. We'll see it tomorrow. Tomorrow itself, okay? Look at the schema. It's not looking so complex, all of you. You understood so far?
Yes.
The complex
Yes.
type.
Very complex. Now I'll flatten it completely. You don't worry about this, folks. I'll flatten it completely. I already have the code ready, but don't worry. Like, how would that work? We'll have a separate session on it, right? This is how I can flatten it. This is how I can flatten it. That's it, folks. Columns got flattened. Did you see that, all of you? Yes. Did you see it straight away? Got all the columns
sir.
are flattened. Yes. We got the final flattened data. We got the final flattened data, right? Look at the final flattened. Data frame is completely flattened. You see that, folks? Data frame is completely flattened. Yes or no? Here.
Yes,
Right.
Sai.
Yes, sir.
So flatten df dot print schema. Don't worry, this topic is not covered yet to batch 40. Don't worry, that's tomorrow's topic. Folks, before the data was very crap. If you see the before data, it was completely, hierarchical. After I processed it, how I got the data schema, it is completely flattened.
Flattened.
Correct?
Flattened.
Did I completed my work? All of you, yes or no? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I completed my work. Now, to which location I have to write this flattened data? Tell me.
3
To
location.
Customer API, right?
Yes, customer API.
Mode
Mode.
overwrite
Over.
dot save. Yes, 3. Let me write to the target location. Let me write to the target location. This is a location where I have to write the data. What I have to write the data here? The web API data. So this is my target location. I am expecting it to do. Right? So I'm writing the data to the customer API also. That's it. Let's see whether this write is also completed. Let's see whether this write is also completed. Done, folks. Done. I'll go back and check my Leah buck. Under Leah buck, under dest, under date, I also got what as a third folder? As a customer API. Folks, tell me, this is my first job. This come from S3 to S3. Site count has come from Snowflake. The last customer API has come from
Web API.
Web API. Before I come out of my shell, what shall I do now? Before I come out of my shell,
Backup.
let's take the code
Backup
backup.
of
Okay,
codes.
let's take the code backup. Right? DF is okay. Okay, I have the backup here. I can take it. Right? This is my code backup I took. Right? This is my code backup I took. This is the last backup. Done. The last but not least, I have to also take the backup of write, isn't it, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Right. That's it. All three sources are done. So first backup, what is the first source we have done? We have read from what? S3 to written to S3. We got the total sum of the count. What is the third,
Correct.
second one? It's a backup. This is S3 source.
Snowflake.
Snowflake to S3.
Backup to Snowflake source.
Snowflake.
What's the
Yes.
third one?
Web API to S3.
Wonderful.
To S3.
So far, all three sources are completed. Right? Can I mark this as completed here? All of you? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'll complete this as marked as completed. So the first milestone is completed. Totally 3 milestones we have. First milestone is completing all the 3 initial sources. Second milestone is completing the master Spark job, the last one. Third milestone is automation. Okay, first milestone is understandable so far. Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Is it boring?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Interesting.
40 folks. In between boring and confusion. Anyway, see, understand the pain. So, to develop this code, I repeat my point, folks, right? To develop this code, I created my own EMR cluster. And first, I completed the first job. Then I completed the second job. Then I completed a third job. And I'll come out of my Spark shell. Correct? So far, all good, all of you. Yeah. Done. So the next job would be what? Developing a master job, right? Developing a master job. Once it is done, what we have to do? The final one. We have to automate through?
Automate.
Through? Yes. We have to automate the entire one through Airflow. Right? So shall we do it post break? All of you? Are you ready? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So a major important point, old batch folks. I mean, the thing is, like, we can provide only if you stay till the end, because we didn't say this to all the batches. Only to the selected batches we informed it. So we would expect you to stay till the meeting end, because we are going to send only to the folks who stay till the end. Batch 40 folks, don't panic. See, you understood the next 1 month topics what we are going to handle. Batch 40 folks, you understood next 1 month
Yes,
topics
sir.
what we are
Yes,
going to
sir.
handle.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
We are
sir.
going to
Yes.
handle everything.
Cloud.
We are going to handle
Yes.
EMR. We are going to open Spark Shell. We are going to consume
Okay.
data, writing the data to Amazon. The next one
Yeah.
1 month topic, I'm handling in a single day. You understood? Simple.
Yes, sir.
Next 1 month topic, I'm going to handle it in a single session. Why I'm handling it? Because it will help you to handle the interviews well. It will help you to handle the interviews well. Right? That's why. So we'll come back after that. Airflow is still pending. We'll spend more time in second half. Once the master job is completed, we'll spend more time with Airflow. All right. That orchestration is very, very, very important. Orchestration is very, very important. We'll spend more time in the second half. Okay. Fine. Folks, before I give, old batch folks, thanks for joining. You might be seeing my announcements also. Quick update regarding the new batch. We are going to start by we are planning to almost next month. because we're almost end of June. So we're starting a new batch by next month. So please ask in case of any referrals, right? New batch starts in upcoming weeks, right? In case of any referrals, ask them to call me. My number is back, right? My WhatsApp number is back. This is my permanent number, as you know. So you can use this number to refer your friends. But remember, the only request is enrollment's availability completely depends on the time they call, because there are so many miscommunication and misunderstanding happens. By the time you refer, you'll say the availability. By the time they call, availability will not be there. Again, hard feelings, right? Then many things happen like that. So we have to check the enrollments availability by the time they call. That's the reason I'm repeating in my status and the updates. Hey, please check the availability by the time they call. Please check the availability by the time they call, right? So new batch starts in upcoming weeks. In case of any referrals, ask them to call to this number. And batch 41 cashback starts shortly in another 1 or 2 weeks. We are planning to start. Okay. So stay in the meeting. Don't leave and join back. Remember, we can able to provide the code and the video only to the folks who wait till the end. Hope you understand. Because since we request only few batches to join, I believe this should be valued. You'll respect that value. Please consider. Stay in the meeting, stay in the meeting, stay in the meeting. Don't leave and join back. We are going to have a airflow automation in the second half. Right? Stay in the meeting. Zybron team, be alert. Yeah. Thank you. Stay in the meeting, folks. We'll meet back sharp by 10:20 a.m. IST. Okay. Stay in the meeting, folks. Stay in the meeting. Folks, sorry. One second. Yeah. Folks, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, very quick recap, folks. Yeah. Just complete the recap in just a couple of minutes. So, first, I mentioned about check. So, we are going to use, right? So, on whole, it's pretty big architecture, but we start with the very basics. If you ask me the whole architecture, this is a whole architecture we are going to execute right now. But we started step-by-step process. Where we start with step-by-step process, right? As I told you, I have 3 sources. We are going to have a one Spark, 3 Spark jobs, which would help you to fetch the data from each and every sources. And we have to write the data to the intermediate S3 environment location. But who will avail this Spark jobs, right? So, however, what is the requirement? The requirement is we'll get the total sum from the first S3 bucket, S3 data, and write the data to total amount data. Then we fed the site count for every username, and we'll write the site count to S3 bucket. Then, right? Then we'll flatten the data and we write the data to customer API. But to enable this environment, right? Who is going to help us? Which environment is going to help us to create a Spark jobs? It's going to be AWS
EMR.
EMR services.
EMR service. So we open AWS EMR service and we completed the first job. Then we also completed the second job. And we also finally completed the third job. So right now, all 3 data sets are available in the intermediate S3 bucket, intermediate S3 storage. If you see intermediate S3 storage, right? If you see intermediate S3 storage, if I go back and check the intermediate S3 storage, all the 3 intermediate data are available. Total amount data is available. Site count is available. Customer API is available. What's next? So now I asked my boss, right? Imagine, folks. Now I asked my boss, all 3 sources data got extracted. What's next? Boss, all 3 data source data got extracted. What's next? Then my boss replied back, Sai, there is a, have a check here, folks. Concentrate. There is a dependency on this intermediate data. There is a dependency on this intermediate data. Other teams would consume this data. What is the dependency we have for this intermediate data? Tell me. Other teams would? Folks, other teams would consume the data.
Consume this data.
Like we have the dependency. Other teams will also use it. Other teams will also have the dependency, right? Basically, because why we are writing it to intermediate stage, intermediate environment. We can put everything in a single job, right? No. Because whatever we count, right, the total amount sum, other teams will use it. Snowflake site counts, other teams will use it. Web API flattened data, other teams will use it. So, whatever the intermediate data you have written, other teams would obviously use it. Actually. So, it is done. Now, final master job. Then my boss replied back, let's implement final master job. What does this final master job do? Right? It's a final master job. We can complete within 5 to 10 minutes. Very simple execution. Later on, we'll sit with DAG, Airflow DAG. Right? Ready, all of you? The final master job?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Now concentrate. The final master job is read all the intermediate sources. Read all the intermediate data. Which data? Which data is specifying? Read all the intermediate data. Which intermediate data we have? Tell me, what are the intermediate data we have?
S3.
Folks, is this my intermediate data available? Yes or no?
Destination is
Yes, sir. Amount, data, site count. and
These are the
customer
three
requirement.
intermediate sources available with us, right? So what my boss is asking. So we already have all the intermediate data available. These three. S3 data is available in total amount data. Snowflake data is available in site count data. Web API is available in the customer API folder. So all three folders, whichever you have written intermediately in S3, right? What my boss asked, read all the intermediate data, specifically these three. Okay, let me put that. Specifically these three. All right. Read all these intermediate data, right? Read all the intermediate data, especially these three, right? Then do the join, do the left join with customer API. What he's asking me to do? What is asking me to do?
Join.
Do the left join with customer API. So what does that mean? Right? I have totally how many sources now? Intermediate data. Tell me, I have totally three sources. Right? I have three sources. What are the three sources he is asking? One is total amount data, which we found, isn't it, all of you?
Total amount data.
Total amount
site
data,
count,
site count data,
and customer
Site count
API.
API data.
Customer API data. Site count data and customer API data. Customer API data. See, this is the data I have in the different folders. This is the data I have in the different folders in AWS S3 right now. Right? We have AWS S3. Now, what he's saying, have customer API data in the left side, right? Please do what? You have to do what? You have to do the join.
Join.
He's asking us to do what? Left join. You understood finally what he's expecting all of you? Actually, right? Having customer data and the left, please do what? Ultimately, please do the join. He's asking us to do the join here. So having customer API data, please join with the site count. Please join with the total amount. The join column is username. What is a join column? From all. What is a common column among all? Username.
Sequence of users.
Username. Using join column is username. Join all the data frames now. Read customer API, read site count, read total amount data. But using customer API in the left side, please join site count, please join total amount. That's the requirement. You understood the point, all of you, right now? Yes or no? All of you here?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes.
So,
Read all the points right now, customer amount, everything. But ensure from customer API, username will have numbers. Username will have what? numbers. Remove it. I'll show it what. Right? In customer API data, you'll have a username, but that username will also have what? Basically, will have numbers. So please remove it. That's it, folks. My cluster is also available. Shall we start our work right now? The last job. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's start our last job. Now the requirement is, right, very simple, folks. Right now I have three data I have, intermediate data, customer API, site count, and total amount. Having customer API as a intermediate, please join customer API and site count, and please join total amount data with a common column as what? Join column as username, but ensure customer API data has what? Username with numbers. Remove it. All right. What he also added, right? Join with username, and write the final data too. There is also a path provided. Okay. The final path he need as what? The final path he read as what? Tell me. Final customer. Same path. See, Liabak, dest, date. He need what in final, in last? Tell me. As a final customer. So he's expecting one more folder known as what here? He's expecting one more folder known as final customer. He is expecting one more folder known as final customer, right? As a final output in this folder as a final customer. So how is it possible? Now it's time to read each and every data. Okay. Now let's read each and every data. Do the joins. Check here, folks. Now it's time to go with open what? To design my final master job. Open Spark Shell. So, folks, what am I designing now? I'm designing one final
Master final spark job.
right? So I'm designing one final master Spark job. One final master Spark job. What does Spark job will do? This last one. What does this diagram do?
Joins will do left join.
It will read the data from all three sources, right? It will read data from all three intermediate stores, intermediate data, do the join, remove numericals, and finally write the data to where? To
Three. S3 S3.
again it is written as to
S3.
S3. But which path is that? Finally, it is final
Customer.
Remember that. The path is going to be final customer. Remember that, folks? All set. So this is my final job I'm going to trigger, right? This Spark job I'm developing will read all the three sources. This final job which I'm triggering will read all the three sources and write the final data to
S3.
right?
Final customer.
Now my Spark shell is open. Let's start the final data, final execution. Well, right? One sec, folks. Yeah. Well, customer data is equal to which data I'm reading first?
Customer API.
Right? Format is not required since it's Spark. I'm reading the customer API data, isn't it, all of you? I'm reading the customer API data first. Yes? Done. Customer API data. I'm reading the first intermediate source now. Done. Well, site count is equal to spark.read.load. Now, which data I'm reading right now?
Site count.
Site count. Okay, path does not. Just one sec. Okay, without underscore. One sec, folks. Now we have to read site count. Okay. Now I'm reading the second source. First source is red. Second source is red. What is the last source? Tell me.
Total amount.
Total amount.
Total is equal to spark dot read dot load. It's a total amount data. Folks, all good right now? Yes? Huh?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, let's see site count. Let's see the data now, whether I have all the site counts and everything. Yes, I have the site count is available. Usernames are available. Let's see the total amount data. Yeah, I have the total amount also. Let's see the customer data. But there is an issue with the customer data. What does he told? There is an issue with the customer data. What he told?
Contains numbers. Username contains numbers.
Username contains numbers, right? If you see, okay, it is not. Okay, let's see username, okay? Let's see how the username is looking like, actually. Select username, right? When you see it is coming with the numericals, which is not good. To do a join, it will not work, correct? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Actually. Blue Tiger 870, heavy rabbit 721. This should not be there. Then only join becomes easy for me. If the numericals are not there, then join becomes easy for me. So we have to eliminate this numericals. We have a certain regex expression for that. All right. I'll show it, but see, as of now, let's check. Customer data, right? Yeah, we need to import a function. Let's remove the numericals, folks. Let's remove the numericals, right? There is a regex code, right? Look at this code. Look at this code, right? Customer data dot with column, username, regex replace, username. If you have any 0 to 1, what I'm asking to do? What I'm asking to do? If you have anything fine between 0 to 1,
Empty string.
remove it.
Empty.
Just remove.
Replace with the
Right? Regex replace. You see with column username, regex replace, call username. If you got any 0 to 1, what you have to do immediately? Remove it. Let's see whether it get removed. rm dot select dot username dot show. Whether numericals are removed, let's see. Let's see whether the numbers are removed from this customer data. Is it removed? Folks, before it was Blue Tiger 870. Now it is just a Blue Tiger. Before it was Heavy Rabbit 721. Now it is just Heavy Rabbit. Before it was Black Dog 421. It is just Black Dog. Yes or no, all of you, basically. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Makes sense? Right? Now it's time to do the join. It's time to do the join. All three data frame joins. Well, join df is equal to rm dot join with site count sequence of username. Which join is it?
Left.
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 Left
Dot
join.
join of. What is the other data frame? Tell me.
Site count.
Total, right?
amount.
It's
total.
Total data frame. Sequence of username. Left.
Again left.
So I'm joining all the data frames now. I took the RM. What is RM? Just now we removed the numericals, right? Basically. I took an RM and joining site count with username left. Joining total with username left. This is my final join DF. Right? Let's analyze this data frame. That's my final join DF. I'm showing it. Let's see. All right. This is a final join DF. My data frame is available. Folks, this is my final join DF. All right. This is my one sec, please. Yeah. This is my final join DF. Right, this is my final join DF, all of you, what you see here, this data frame, right? So if you clearly watch, in the last, which two columns got added? Which two columns got added in the last?
Side count and
Side
total.
count
Side
and
count.
total.
and total.
In
See,
customer
which are
data.
matching, you'll get it as side count. Which are not matching, what it has done? It has put
Null.
as null.
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 So, folks, can you see the columns got attached? Makes sense, all of you, what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Columns got attached. So, the customer API data, we attached site count data as well as the total data to the existing data frame. We're almost successful. Last but not least, what you have to do with this join DF? What we have to do with this join DF?
Write it to
Right.
S3.
Write to
Write it to
S3
Parquet.
as a final customer.
Final customer
Dot
data.
format of
Parquet.
Parquet
Parquet. Dot
mode
Not
override.
overwrite
Dot
dot
save.
save.
Location.
To which location do we? It was asked to
S3.
write.
to create one.
Final
Your
customer
location,
is the
we
name
already
of the
got that
folder.
location, isn't it, all of you?
Yes.
My
yes,
boss
sir.
already told the location. The location is the final customer.
Final customer.
So this is the final customer. This is my last job. I have to read every source, every intermediate source, and I have to finally write the data to final customer. Now the write started, right? We're expecting it to get one more folder here. What is the folder we're expecting to get? Tell me.
Final customer.
Final customer.
Final customer.
So that's it. It is saying work done. This is saying what? What is it saying? It is saying work
Done.
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 Now, if I see final customer data is available, if I check over here, right, I got the Parquet file. How is it, folks? Is it understandable to all of you right now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So,
Entire development is complete. What did I just do, all of you? Entire development is complete. So finally, can I mark this job is also as completed? This job is also completed, all of you. Yes.
So
Marking this as completed. Right? I'm marking this as completed. So the entire end-to-end, can I know what is end-to-end we have executed now? We extracted data from all three sources. The data has been read by three Spark jobs, returned the data to three intermediate S3 locations. I've triggered one final Spark command job. It read and put the data to final customer. How is this development so far, folks? Understandable? How is this development so far?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Understandable, sir.
Understand. So, folks, my
yes, sir.
sorry, little bit.
Little bit as bouncy also.
Bouncy. Okay. Am I not repeating again and again?
Yeah, you're repeating, but like when we will be having a hands-on.
Are you concentrating on the code? Don't concentrate on the code. Don't concentrate on the requirement also. Concentrate on only what? Paint.
Flow.
Paint. Okay. You are clear now, Amar Singh?
Yes.
Yes. Concentrate on the flow. The next 1 month session, I'm handling it in one session for your interview purpose. So just understand the paint. Paint part is understandable, right? To all of you, paint part at least. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
leave
Yes,
about
sir.
the entire code. All right. Now, let me take backup. What shall we do now? Immediately. Once it's completed.
Backup. Backup.
Backup. Check. Right. Folks, don't concentrate on any of the code because in a single day, you cannot understand the 1 month of session. So let's take the backup of the final. Which backup is this? Which backup is this? Master. Final master job. Site count. Total. So I'm taking the entire backup. Site count. Total. Customer data show. I'm checking the usernames also. I'm putting on show also. I'll show you why. Okay. Putting the show also. I'm importing some functions. Then removing the numericals. I'm joining the DF. and I finally return the data to final customer. All right, folks, what I did finally, how many jobs I have written finally? First, S3 to S3. Backup, it's a backup of Snowflake source data.
Snowflake.
Yes.
Next one is Web API
Web
data.
Web
API.
API.
The last one is master.
Master.
So finally, all source data are completed. You agree or not? All of you right now, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, my development is completed, boss. My development is completed. What shall we do to this cluster now? My development is completed, over, done. What shall we do this to this cluster now?
Terminate the cluster.
Terminate the
Work is
cluster.
completed, right? All the 4 jobs are completed. All the 4 are completed. Now I'll go to EMR, right? Terminate. Done. Are you clear so far with this paint? Yeah.
Yeah.
Folks, I had 3 Spark jobs, read the sources and read it to intermediate stage. I took a backup. Then I read the three intermediate data, written to S3. I took a backup. All three are completed. Don't concentrate on code. Concentrate on paint. Don't concentrate on code. Concentrate on paint. If you concentrate on code, it will be heavy for you. Concentrate only on the code. Concentrate only on the paint. So this is completed. Folks, first job completion, which folder it created? First job completion, which folder it has created?
Total managers.
Right? Have a check. The first job completion has generated what? In the test folder, it has generated what? Total amount
Data.
right? Total amount data. Second job generated what? Site count. Site count. Right? Third job generated what?
Customer API.
The master job, final job generated what?
Final customer.
Customer. Since my development is completed, what I did to this cluster, I have terminated.
Terminated the cluster.
Done. Fine. Development is completed. Cluster is gone. Now, what I have in my hand now? Can you tell me what I have in my hand? Everything is done. What I have?
Backup code.
Exactly.
Backup
Now,
codes.
cluster is not in my hand now. It's gone. I have only the code now. How many codes I have? 4 backups I have. S3 backup, Snowflake backup, Web API backup, and the master backup. Now, what shall we do?
Jar creation.
Now, what we are going to do now, folks, I'm going to do something now. See what I'm doing now. What am I doing? I selected all
All the folders.
folders. I'm going to do what?
Delete.
Delete.
What happened to these folders?
Folders
Delete.
got deleted.
As the session is over. Goodbye.
No.
Automation sound.
Now, let's generate all these folders using automation. Understood, all of you?
Yes.
No. The thing is, folks, can you believe one statement now? Right? Check. What I just did, can you tell me what I did? First, from the beginning, what I did. First, created cluster.
Cluster. Generate the data.
Open Spark job.
Open
Spark
Spark cell.
Spark shell.
See, I'm saying step by step, folks. The reason, see how will I'm going to completely automate this. I created a cluster. Open Spark shell. Develop job 1. Which job 1? S3 job. Then, again, I've opened what? Spark shell. Developed what?
Snowflake job.
Snowflake job. Then again, I've opened Spark shell and developed
Web
what?
API.
Web
Web API.
API.
Web API job.
Job. Again, I open one more thing. I open Snowflake job along with some packages, isn't it? All of you, correct?
Yes,
Packages.
sir.
Fourth option. Again, I open Spark Shell and I developed what?
Master job.
Master job. After everything is completed, what I made to this cluster?
Terminated the cluster.
Terminate.
Terminated
cluster.
the
The cluster.
What if I say from the creation till the termination, everything will be automated. Cluster gets created of its own. Spark opens up. First job gets completed. Second job gets completed. Third job gets completed. Fourth job gets completed. Cluster gets terminated. How is it if I complete this now?
Super Sai.
Useful? Focus. But for every movie, there is a hero, isn't it? All of you. Correct? Sometimes, right? Sometimes hero will be revealed in the last. Like Manjamal Boys, isn't it? All of you. Simple. Similarly, for this story, we have a hero. Who comes in the last? Everyone watched Kalki
Terminate.
movie? Everyone watched Kalki movie?
No,
Yes.
Yes, Sai.
Till the last second, Amitabh Bachchan was a hero. But in the last 10 minutes, Prabhas conquered it. Correct? That's the game. Same. So if you see this entire automation, we have our final hero who will do everything for us. Who is it ultimately?
Apache.
Going to be Airflow.
Airflow.
What this Airflow is going to do? Start the cluster, run the 4 jobs, terminate the cluster. Plus Airflow can do it. But Airflow expects all the jobs to be in what? All the jobs to be collided with what actually? As a jar. Got it, all of you? What Airflow expects? It expects a jar. Shall we generate a jar with this four jobs? Shall we generate the jar with all the four jobs first? All of you? Yes? Shall we do it or not? All of you? Yeah?
Yes, Sai.
Yes?
Yes.
Who will help me to generate the jar ultimately?
Never.
Eclipse.
Eclipse.
Usually you can go with GitHub Actions Jenkins way, right? Let me take a backup. All right. Folks, concentrate now. Did you see one project here? What is a Spark? What is the project name here? In the left side. What is the project you see in the left side?
Spark Air.
Spark Air,
Air.
right? Inside Spark Air, I've created one what? I've selected here. What is it? What is it actually?
Package.
Under package, I have 4 objects. Can you tell me what are the 4 objects? API,
Master.
API,
API master
and
S3
Snow.
Snow.
For every object I use, API, base template I kept. Master, base template I kept. S3, base template I kept. Snowflake, base template I have kept. Correct? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Ready, folks? We are in the climax. We are at the climax. Focus. This half an hour is going to be very, very, very crucial. Very crucial. Development anybody can do. Automation is a final chocolate. All right? Focus. Now, I have 4 objects. API, master, S3 and Snow. I have 4 objects. API, master, S3 and Snow. Now, what I'm going to put in all these objects. What I'm going to put in all these objects. You tell me.
Backup.
code.
Exactly.
VDF.
First, I selected which object. Tell me which object I've selected here.
S3.
S3.
Now, S3. Let's put S3 code here. Where is the backup? That's the backup, right? S3 code. Whatever I have developed. What I put here? Tell me. S3 code. Okay.
S3 code back.
Right? What is this backup says? I read the source data, found the total, and I have written the data. Is this S3 code, all of you? Put into an
Yes, sir.
object?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Done. Next, let's go to snow source. Snow.scale. See, snow.scale. Now let's take snowflake data. This is my snow code. Putting the snow code. Is it fine, all of you? Reading the source data,
Yes.
snow df, writing. Second thing, snowflake job is mentioned here. Third, web API. Let's go to API. API object. It is also free here. API data is also free here. Let's put entire code here. Reading the URL data, flattening it till the right. Folks, did I put the data here? Yes or no? Completed? Yes.
Sir.
What's the last job I have?
Master.
Master job.
Final question.
One sec. Yeah. What is the final job I have? Tell me. It's a
Master job.
master job. I'm opening the master.scalar. I'm opening master.scalar here. Then let me put me master code. Done. All set, all of you. Done. Everything.
Yes, sir.
So I opened a Spark, I opened an Eclipse, and I created a project. In that I have kept 4 objects. The first object is S3. I put the S3 backup code. S3 backup code. Then I put snow. I put the snowflake backup code. Then I put master backup code. Sorry, API backup code. Then master backup code. Did I put everything in this Eclipse? All of you, right now?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
what shall we do now? Shall we generate what right now?
Jars.
Usually Jenkins can take care of GitHub Actions can take care. Now I'm creating it manually, right? For now. So let me generate the jar. Oh, sorry, mistake. Generating the jar. This is my final jar. I have generated my jar now. Let me go to the backend directory of my folder. If I go inside it, what has generated finally? Tell me what has generated finally. Tell me.
Spark Air.
Spark jar. Spark Air. To make it simple to understand, shall we rename it as just Spark Air? Just a simple Spark Air. Yeah.
Yes.
My
Yes,
final
sir.
jar is available. All right. I've generated it here. Right. I have generated it here. Maven build package. It will generate the jar and say it is successful. What it says, all of you, tell me. As build success.
Build success.
So I've gone to the backend folder of this particular project. When I checked inside it, I got generated with what? I got generated with jar.
Spark jar.
Jar.
Spark Air jar.
Jars.
So this jar right now is very, very important because this job is having what? This jar is having what inside it? Tell me.
4
It
jars.
has
5 jars.
all the 4 jobs, right? It has all the 4 objects are sitting right now in this jar. All the 4 objects are right now sitting in this jar, right? Now, I'll also show you that 4 objects, folks. One sec. Now, the jar is generated. Folks, the backend jar is generated. Now in that jar also, anyway, I feel like laughing at times because of some people in the meeting. They don't know how to handle the meeting also. I don't know how they are calling themselves as grown up. Anyway, so target system. This is my jar. So my jar is available, all of you. Now,
Yes, sir.
all the four
Yes,
objects
sir.
are available. I can show you. See, if I go inside it, I can show you the jars available, right? I can show you the jars. What are the objects? It is available. Right click, open arcade, right? Folks, this is my package. I'm opening this jar. Inside this jar, what I have, what classes I have inside it. Tell me, I have all the four classes.
Four objects.
All the four, actually objects, but it create as a class. So inside my jar, all the code is available sitting inside this jar. So this jar is my final ultimatum. You understood, all of you? Which has all the code inside it. Correct?
Yes, sir.
What is my jar name? Spark.
Arcade jar.
Inside the Spark jar, I have all the necessary code inside it. Now what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to upload this where? Where I'm going to upload this? Actually, I'm going to upload this
AWS.
in AWS.
EMR.
Not EMR. EMR is no more available.
S3.
What is the storage?
Okay,
What is the
S3.
storage we have in AWS?
S3 storage.
S3.
S3 storage. So what I'll do, I will upload this jar, something known as inside this layer buck. I'll upload this jar. Inside this layer buck, I'm uploading this jar. All right, upload. So finally, where does my jar is sitting now? Tell me, inside my S3.
Yeah.
S3.
The jar path right now is this. Is this my jar path? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Done.
Yes, sir.
Okay side. Jar is okay side. But who will run this jar side? Who will run this jar? Actually,
Airflow.
Airflow. You know what? You know what Airflow will do now? Airflow will happily start a cluster, happily run the jar, all the objects, and it will terminate also. Make sense, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes? But how side? How to automate this side? Folks, the final climax, concentrate now. Final climax, right? There is no second half also for this. There's no extension. There's no second also for this. It's only one. Concentrate now. One part. Focus now. Ready, all of you? Doubling your focus now. Doubling your focus.
Yes, sir.
Jar is available. Now, who will automate it? It's nothing but it's going to be Airflow. How to go to Airflow? Search Airflow here. Search Airflow here. Managed Apache Airflow. Did you see it, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Right? Managed Apache Airflow. The shortcut is MOA. You know, it's quite funny. MOA. What is the shortcut of Apache Airflow service name? MOA. MWAA. Right? Which we call it as, basically, we call it as MOA. AWS MOA. Right? We call it as Apache, Amazon Managed Workflow for Apache Airflow. M stands for managed, W stands for workflows, AA stands for Apache Airflow, MOA. Clear, all of you? Right? Now, let's go to MOA. Funny name, isn't it? Can all of you say that? MOA?
Yes, sir.
MOA.
Difficult.
MOA.
Wow.
Anyway, so I've just gone to MOA now, all of you. Yeah. So in this managed, I see the environments. Did you see environment? One environment is available. Yes. Check. Can you see it is asking open to what? Open
Airflow UI.
Open Airflow UI.
User interface.
Airflow UI. I'm opening the Airflow UI now. Focus, focus. This is your Airflow UI. This is a place the entire magic happens. Did you see any entries here? Did you see any entries here? No.
No, sir.
Nothing. Nothing is available here. Right? Nothing is available here. But how the automation starts? How the automation starts? Where will I find an entry? Where there is a start button? Where there is an end button? How? Okay, Sai, you developed the code, Sai, you terminated the cluster also. You put all the code in a jar and put the jar in a S3 also. But how will you automate through Airflow? How I have gone to Airflow? Again, I'll show you. What do you have to type in search box? You have to type more or Airflow.
Move.
Anything is fine. Right? If you type it, you'll open managed Apache Airflow. Right? So here I have an environment. I'm opening open Airflow UI here. I'm opening it. So Airflow UI will open. So this is your dedicated Apache Airflow UI. Right? Simple. For every movie, if I have a hero, we also have what? Maximum number of movies. We also have a
Villain.
not
Villain.
villain. See, no villains here, yeah, please. At least for songs or okay, some strong
Heroine,
characters.
Heroine.
We need heroine.
Heroine.
See, if
Heroine.
Airflow is a hero, we need whom? We need a
Actress.
heroine. We need actress and we need a heroine. Heroine is a soul for this everything, right? Sometimes some movies heroine is a soul. We need a heroine now. That heroine is right now Python file. What is it, all of you? Python file.
Python file.
File.
Right now I have Airflow ready, all set. But you need one Python file. That's our heroine, folks. These two people are very important. Hero is important, heroine is important. Our Airflow is a hero. Our Py file is a heroine. But where is our heroine? Ready? All of you? Did you see a big Python file? Yes? Yes or no? Right?
Yes, sir.
This is our heroine. This is our heroine. What does what does this file will do? What does this file will do? I'll show you something. All right? Concentrate, folks. Concentrate. What this guy will do? Please focus. First, this guy creates what? What this Py file will create? Creates what? Tell me.
Cluster.
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 First, this Py file will create the cluster. Once cluster is created, all right, with all the, is it, this softwares are enough to install a cluster applications? All of you, Maxim is enough, right? Hadoop and Spark is enough. Correct? Done.
Yes, sir.
Once the cluster is started, you have to run what? First one. What is your first job? Tell me. What I'm running as a first job.
Web
What I'm running,
Web
folks.
API data.
Check here.
Spark action.
I'm
We are
running
running
Spark
the
as
jar.
first. I'm asking to
Jar.
run what? API job. After
API.
API job, I'm asking to run which job?
No.
Snowflake.
Snow.
Snowflake.
After Snowflake is done, what I'm asking to what I'm asking to
S3.
S3.
S3 job. Right? After everything is completed, you have to run what?
Master.
Master Spark.
Master.
Once all the jobs are completed, you have to do what?
Terminate the cluster.
Terminate.
Terminate the cluster.
Terminate the cluster.
This Py file has everything. This is what we call it as a Airflow DAG file. What is this file name called? Tell me, folks. Airflow DAG file.
Airflow DAG file.
DAG file, okay? Airflow DAG file. If I give this file to whom? I have to give this file to whom right now? To Airflow.
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 Heroine has to reach hero now. Simple. Heron has to reach hero now. That this py file has to reach airflow. If I give this to airflow can easily automate, right? Check here. It will start a cluster. Once a cluster started with all these softwares, Hadoop, Hive, and everything, it will run the API job first. Then it will run the Snow job next. Then it will run the S3 job next. Then it will run finally what? Master job, right? And finally, what it will do? It will terminate the cluster.
At the cluster.
Right? So total job, the total, code is in this DAG file. What we call this DAG file. DAG. What is that file called, all of you? It's a DAG file.
Tag file.
Now, where I should upload this file? How will I upload to this Airflow? Any upload option you see here? Any upload option you see here?
Browse.
No. Any upload options?
No, I guess.
No.
No. No, you might be thinking, hey, if I say no, I may be wrong. So people are silent, isn't it? The answer is no.
An interface, no.
No. Go to S3. I created one bucket dedicatedly for whom? Tell me. Airflow bug Zeyo.
Airflow.
Go inside it. You'll see a folder known as what? Tags.
That's
Go inside that. Now the beauty is upload that file here. What I'm going to do to this, what I'm going to do in this folder, I'm going to
Upload the DH.
Loading the DAG file.
upload the DAG file, right? This project deploy. Let me save it somewhere. Right? Let me upload this file here. The C drive. I kept project deploy. It's not showing up here. Yeah. This project deploy file I am uploading to this particular DAG's location in S3. Folks, did you see a DAG locations got applied? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I.
So finally, the Heron got uploaded to S3.
Even address we will take.
Now, Airflow is already watching this folder. You understood, all of you? Who is watching this folder already? Who is watching this folder already?
Airflow.
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 Now, I'll go to Airflow UI. Right? It will take 1 or 2 minutes. Airflow is continuous refresh, but approximately within 1 to 2 minutes, you will see an entry here. Within 1 to 2 minutes, you will see an entry here with one extra run. You'll see an entry here. Right? So let's wait for 1 more minute. You understood, all of you? Yeah? Now, what I'm planning to do, from the creation of cluster till the termination, I want to automate this entire flow. So in this automation, I kept my entire Airflow DAG code in which file actually? I kept it in a py file. That py file, where did I upload? That py file, where did I upload? To a S3 location.
Three buckets.
Three.
S3 folder. That folder is continuously watched by whom here? Who is watching that folder continuously?
Airflow.
But Airflow will take 1 or 2 minutes to get that entry. It is a continuous entry, but Airflow is quite a heavy engine. So it will take 1 or 2 minutes to start the job. So in this Airflow, you will see everything, folks. You will see everything right now. Please focus. Please focus. Folks, so far everyone understood, right? Yes? So
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
meanwhile that we get an entry. So that DAG file is a kind of a soul of entire execution now. This DAG file itself says DAG file will create a cluster of its own. DAG file will install the DAG file will help you to install all the applications, whatever you want. It will execute the API job first. It will execute the Snow job next. It will execute the S3 job next. It will execute the master job. But did you see Spark submit command everywhere? Did you see Spark submit command, all of you? Everywhere? Yes? Spark submit. Spark submit. Spark submit. So Spark gets submitted each and every job now. Because as each and every job runs in such a way, folks, the entire DAG file, the entire automation, this py file should comprise. Because stay in mute, folks. Stay in mute. What's the problem, Rajkumar? I don't have time to address all this. The entire DAG code is sitting in this particular code. So for every automation through Airflow, you have to create which file? We call that file as DAG file. We call that file as DAG file. Because that DAG file we need to upload to S3. My Airflow is continuously watching whom? Continuously watching?
3.
Yeah, why it is taking long time here. Anyway, usually it will not take this much. Let's see. Let's wait for one moment. Okay. So because we have to run that also. We're still waiting to run that. Let's wait. That's fine. Right? I have uploaded it. Dax folder. Project deploy.py. All right. Project deploy.py. Fast, make it fast. Just for safer side, just to refresh, I'll upload one more file also. Yes. Folks, did you see an entry here? Did you see an entry here? Sample entry.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. One entry here. All of you can able to watch an entry in Airflow now. Right?
Yes,
So
sir. Project 2.
now let's run this flow. Let's run this flow. All right. Now go to EMR. Now go to EMR. Right. Any clusters you see active? Any clusters you see active in EMR right now? No. No.
Oh,
Now I have my Airflow DAG available here. I got an entry as project E2. All right. Now, could you see a run button here? Run button. Run button.
Say trigger.
Trigger.
Yes, sir.
one.
Trigger DAG. Trigger DAG. So I can show you the code also. Right? I can show you the code also inside it. I'm going inside this and see the code here. Right? Did you see the entire code, whatever we have in the DAG file? All of you, full code. Right?
Yes, sir.
Now come to DAGs. Now it's time to, this is not required right now. Right? Now it's time to give a trigger run button. So this is my run button. I'll trigger shoot. That's it. Folks, is it shooted? Is it shooted? Yes.
Yes.
You know what? If you go at the back end, what started? Folks, what started right now?
Cluster is
Cluster
started.
Cluster is started already. Cluster is started already. By triggering the run button in DAG, it started creating a cluster now. It's not just creating a cluster. You know what? This cluster also holding what right now? How many jobs it is holding? Tell me.
4 jobs.
4 jobs. So if I go to this jobs inside, I'm going inside this, okay? I'm going inside this. 4 jobs are configuring in this cluster. 4 jobs are configured in this cluster. You want to see those 4 jobs? All of you? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
See,
Yes.
go to steps. Go to steps. How many jobs you see here? Actually, tell me. 4
Four
jobs.
jobs.
API job, Snowflake, S3, master job. But it is in pending state. It is in pending state. Now, what will happen now in this whole cluster end-to-end job? Cluster gets started, cluster run those 4 jobs, gets terminated also. Understood? All of you right now? Yep. Simple. By a single click of a run, by single click of a trigger run, the entire job got automated. Makes sense? Final goal, all of you.
Yes, sir.
Simple. By single click of a run, my DAG is referring the file at the backend. My DAG is referring the file at the backend. That file is having to start this cluster, run those 4 jobs, terminate the cluster. Terminate the cluster. Now you will see the orchestration also. See the orchestration, folks, in Airflow. See the orchestration. Did you see some graph here? All of you? Create cluster,
Yes, sir.
added Spark jobs here. See the orchestration, you can see everything. We just see green marks. How easy to track the Airflow now, right? So this Airflow is an orchestration tool. This orchestration tool actually, it triggered the create cluster command. It also added what? Added Spark steps.
Spark, yes.
This is a sole entry right now. All right. This is a sole entry right now, which the backend code from S3 is being fetched by this Airflow. This Airflow, by the time I triggered the cluster started with all the 4 jobs in it. What does this cluster has in it now? All the 4 jobs. Now, what this cluster will do, it will come to the starting state, then it will come to the running state, then it will run all the 4 jobs and gets terminated. Understood, all of you right now, how this is configured? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The same topic I'll handle tomorrow again, bit more details. I'll give bit more details because in a single day you'll not understand in the first attempt. Required 2 attempts. Make sense, all of you, today? Yeah.
Sir.
So
Yes.
let
sir.
the
Yes,
Spark job
Sai.
completed. Currently, Dest is not available. Currently, Dest I already removed it. Right? Dest is already removed. No folders available, isn't it? All of you? Yes. Basically, yeah. Now, the Spark job has just started. See, ultimately, what I'm planning to achieve. Ultimately, what I'm planning to achieve. This one. Let's come to the point where we all started. Is this a place we all started? All of you, with this understanding. Correct? Sources. First, we developed the entire code. Then we tested it. Then we stopped the cluster. Then I put a jar into S3. That jar has all the details. Have a check here, folks. The entire jar I put it to S3 and I designed what? I've designed what actually? I designed a Airflow DAG file. This Airflow DAG file, I gave it to S3. Immediately I got an entry to where did I get an entry here? I got an entry in Airflow. What is a service name in AWS for Airflow? Tell me. It is MOA, right?
MOA.
Managed workflow Apache Airflow.
Apache Air.
Now the cluster is in starting state. It is preparing the cluster now. Folks, did you say cluster has turned to which state now? Tell me, it is changed to
Running.
change to
Running
running
state.
state.
Running state.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Running the jars.
Running the
Part
jobs already.
Jobs will start executing.
Let's
Jobs,
go to
yeah.
steps and see. Hey, 3 jobs are already completed. Did you see all of you already?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Did you see it's already started doing it? All of you.
Yes, yes.
Folders are ready now. Folders are ready now. Folks, everything is completed, folks.
Yes, I completed.
Right? Anyway, cluster has just started. Cluster has triggered this 4 jobs. All the 4 jobs completed. Did you see? Completed, 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 completed.
Yes, sir.
All the jars are available. All the document, all the fold. My desk is filled again. But this time, did I create a cluster? You tell me. Did I create a cluster? Did I create a cluster?
No.
No,
Did I
sir.
open a
No,
Spark Shell?
No.
No, sir.
No.
Did I execute the first job? No. Did I execute a second
No,
job?
sir.
No. Did I execute a third job?
No,
No.
sir.
Not fourth job. So cluster created for itself. It ran all the 4 jobs. Every 4 job it has done, right? All the 4 job it run all the 4 jobs. If you go back and check the entry, you'll see every entry here. It completed all the 4 jobs now. All the 4 jobs are completed. See, you will see in the step cluster under steps, you'll see all the 4 steps. All the 4 steps you see, right? All the 4 steps you see. It created it got the data from S3, written to S3. It got the data from Snowflake, written to S3. It got the data from Web API, written to S3. It triggered the entire master job, written to S3. The final work is completed. How is this execution, folks? Actually, whole
Great,
process.
sir.
Very
Okay,
nice.
right?
Cool.
Batch 40, folks. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The same
Yes,
topic we are
yes,
going to
yes.
handle tomorrow, more deeper. We're going to handle the same topic tomorrow with more and more deeper. Got it, all of you? Again, one more iteration is required because you're going to present yourself next week. The interview is going to start by next week, right? So you need a project passage, proper automation, sentences, and everything, right? So this is a whole airflow. By single run, what I did. Tell me, by single run, what I did.
I did all the
The trigger,
process.
everything started, right? So the entire cluster started. In cluster will go to termination state shortly. In another 1 minute, the work is completed by the cluster, right? The work is completed by the cluster hardly in a minute, right? Cluster goes into terminating state. And all of you, you got any question? Why Sai manually triggered it? Is it not a manual run? All of you? Is it not
Yes,
a
Sai.
manually triggered?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes,
But
yes.
you also should remember, even though I did not trigger this, 10 a.m. every day in the morning. Did you see a schedule here? All of you?
Yes, Sai.
Sir.
Okay, okay.
Automatically it gets triggered. You understood the schedule here, all of you?
Yes,
Even
sir.
though I did not trigger this, tomorrow morning 10 o'clock, what will happen? Tomorrow morning 10 o'clock, it automatically will trigger.
It
It
will
will
run
automatically
automatically.
trigger
run
and
automatically.
run the job.
See, actually, if I upload the DAG and I sit back, just sit, that's it. Tomorrow morning, this should have executed. But since I want to execute manually, I've triggered it. If I don't trigger this, what will happen tomorrow morning? It will trigger it automatically. It will trigger automatically. Where did I schedule this? Again, in the same DAG.
That's fine.
Same
Yeah.
DAG file.
.py
When I
file.
scheduled it.
Yeah.
Tell me. At what
10
time I
a.m.
Daily
scheduled it?
10 a.m.
Daily at 10 a.m.
Daily at
Daily
10.
10 a.m.
So creation clusters in that same DAG file. Running a Spark job is in same DAG file. Termination should also have started. See, it started termination, all of you already. Yes. Termination is also done. Even though I do not run it, at what time the DAG will trigger this entire schedule? Daily 10 a.m.
No.
How is it? Okay, right? At least tomorrow you'll get one more iteration will
Yes.
help you to understand better. Yes.
Yes,
So,
Sai.
folks, ultimately, what did I do in a nutshell? I have created EMR cluster,
EMR cluster.
read S3 data and processed it and written to S3. Isn't it, all of you?
S3.
That's right.
Read Snowflake data
Snowflake.
Data.
and processed it
And
and
written
written to S3.
Return to S3.
Read API data and processed it and
Processed.
written to
S3.
S3. And read all the above 3
Intermediate.
3.
and processed it.
Processed it.
and return to S3.
S3.
Then generated a jar with all three,
All three.
I mean, all 4 jobs and kept it in S3. Opened mover, right? Open mover and check the workflow. But what we found initially, there are no workflows, correct? All of you. Then uploaded the Python DAG file. What did I upload? Folks, tell me, to S3.
Python DAG file.
To S3. Got an entry in Airflow.
Yep.
And I run
Triggered
it,
it.
right? Run or triggered it. Cluster started. Ran Spark jobs. Cluster got terminated.
Terminated.
Even though if I do not run it, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., it will run.
And then
It will run every day. Understood? All of you, these steps, 11 lines. Understandable.
yes.
How is it, folks? Batch 40. Okay, right? At least as a beginner,
Very
I'm
nice.
not expecting you to understand everything, right? This
Very
is your
nice.
next 1 month session. Starting from S3, starting from EC2, starting from EMR, starting for automation, starting for Airflow, understanding the DAG file, designing the DAG file, I mean, integrating with Web API, integrating with Snowflake, reads, writes, blah. The entire 1 month session, I just showed it in 3 hours to tell you the seriousness of it. And also this end-to-end execution. See, I can put this open challenge. You will not find it anywhere. Anybody found, even old batch folks, anybody found such video anywhere? Any session anywhere? I'm asking out of curiosity. There is a reason for me to ask this. You might be got Airflow thing. Anywhere you got this, anywhere YouTube or anywhere? Just asking out of
Nowhere.
curiosity.
Nowhere.
You will not find it.
No, sir.
No, sorry.
The reason why I'm saying this, see, it's not out of pride. Hey, I've done something great. Not like that. Firstly, to reach this point, to enable this session, to make you to understand this session, I worked really hard because permission issues, Airflow DAG. I don't have a DevOps. I'm the one DevOps for me. Permission issue, reads, writes, so many work I have done from Monday to make this happen. Hope old batch folks understood. Yeah, everything.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I will give you the DAG files also. Okay, I'll give this DAG file. I'll give you this this video will be uploaded directly in YouTube. Only to the selected folks, I'll give you the video link, which is because it is unlisted. Okay, it will be unlisted. You'll not get it. So I'll send you the DAG file also. Airflow UI, everything. You'll get to know. Everything is a part of the video. Okay, folks. Yes. Hope you enjoyed the session today, whole batch folks.
Yeah, Sai, definitely.
Yeah, Sai.
Yes,
Sai, do we need to have
Exactly.
AWS account
I'll
to
tell you. I'll
test
tell you
if
that tomorrow, Gaurav. Right.
Okay.
So, right. Thanks a lot, all of you, for joining today. Yeah. So I know it was we started giving so much of information from Wednesday because we only selected batches. So hope you enjoyed the session. Thanks a lot who joined. Same 40 batch and old batch. Don't raise your hand, folks. Please. Please don't raise your hand. Please do not raise your hand. Do not in the sense no. English do not means no. Clear? Yeah. So firstly, whoever attended today, you'll get this video as well as the entire zip file. As I was telling you, yeah, two more updates regarding the reference. As I was telling you, for the upcoming batch, ask them to call me. Others, regarding 41 cashback, will start slowly. All right. So I need only 40 batch folks to stay. Others can leave. We'll discuss later because 40 folks I have to address. Others can leave. 40 folks. Tomorrow we are going to discuss the same workflow bit deeper more. Right? More deeper now because this is just I said not to raise your hand. Okay, not in the sense in English we say no. That means you should not do it. Okay, in English. Kindly hold on. Don't interrupt me. So, 40 folks, tomorrow we are going to see the same scenario All right. But again, more deeper. So that if second attempt will understand you, make it more understandable. But by next week, since you have interviews on place, you definitely need a this execution passages, everything will be covered tomorrow. All right. Hope you enjoyed the session. Others can leave. 40, any questions? Not regarding this, folks. You may have many open questions, batch 40. I know that. But let's reiterate it tomorrow. Then I'll sit with the questions tomorrow. Because this is not the end. We are going to rediscuss on it. Hope you enjoyed the session. Thanks a lot, all of you. And other than this, any questions you have, let's stay back. Regarding the airflow DAGs and everything about this entire and end-to-end automation, tomorrow we'll reiterate it and I'll sit with the questions. Tomorrow we'll reiterate it and sit with the questions. Only batch 40, kindly raise your hand. Others can leave. Batch 40 high priority because all batch folks kindly do not raise your hand. The reason when your batch is there, you're our priority. Batch 40 is going on, batch 40 is my priority. Hope you understand. My time should be dedicated to batch 40 because the same I have done for your batches also. Thanks a lot, all of you. Hope you enjoyed it. Meet you. Meet you next.
Thank you, Sai. Thank you very
Thanks a lot.
much.
Thanks a lot, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sai. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sai.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sai. Thanks. Thank you, Sai.
Thank you. Thank you, folks. Okay.
Thank you, Sai.
Thank you, sir.
Folks, I'll be back. I'll just can you just
Sai,
refresh my eyes? and come
can you
back.
share these recorded session link with batch 39?
As I told you, you will receive it. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I already told that. You'll receive it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Folks, just give me a couple of minutes. I'll be back. I'll just wash my eyes and come. Let's get started, folks. Prem, go ahead.
Yeah, hi Sai. Sai, my question is like in AWS, we are creating S3 for the storage and EMR for the processing like Hadoop and Spark we are installing. So in local, generally we are in Eclipse, we are running the Spark code, right, Sai, daily. In that the storage is our local disk we are using, but where the Hadoop environment will be created, Sai, in
Hadoop is not required, right? That's why we created WinUtils. You remember WinUtils we created?
yes, Sai.
That creates a Hadoop environment. But not Hadoop environment is not mandatory in our local. What are we doing in our
Okay.
Windows? Only Eclipse and IntelliJ, right?
Yes.
Oh, only Eclipse and
But
IntelliJ. We doesn't
yeah,
require any
yes.
environment. We just need Spark jobs on place because we're not going to run the job in our local Windows. We're going to run it in cluster. We have to worry about the cluster, not on Eclipse.
Okay, okay. So it all when it comes on to AWS only,
The
we'll
deployment, I told we open Spark shell, take the code and put into Eclipse. That's what I told.
yeah,
You
yeah,
remember
yeah.
the first one?
Yes, I.
Yeah, that's a job. That's a logic.
Yes, I. So I, yeah, that's it, sir. Thank you.
So thank you. Mani?
Sir, actually, during the tracing building day, I asked one doubt on WhatsApp, sir. Once
What
you
is-
got free, just please reply on that, sir. Once you free, sir.
what is your free? What is that message? $1 million message, huh? Not required. Say the truth, Mani. No, nothing will happen. Since there's 3 years, nothing will happen. Okay?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Sri Charan?
Sai, actually, you will share all these photos now with in common groups and everything. All the
We are,
these
we are, planning to,
flows
we are planning to charge a bit, Sri Charan. Whoever asks, we'll charge 100 rupees.
for this one, please. All these
I'll
things.
share it, Sri. Come on here. I'll not share it. I'll share it.
Okay, Sai, again, second one on the resume. I prepared a different resume, and you said me to make it as you said. I shared you through WhatsApp. Like you will see it in your free time.
See,
That
we
one.
already reviewed it. There is no second review, Charan. If I already gave the changes, that's good.
Okay.
Right? If a time permits, I'll tell you because
Okay.
I still have 100 to 150 resumes pending to review. Basically. So I'll
Okay.
review it maybe after a week. Give me a date. First, let me complete all the internal reviews. We're going to start the reviews again maybe
Okay,
Monday,
sir.
Tuesday. That's the reason. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. Bye.
Ashok?
Yeah, hi, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah, Ashok.
Okay. So it's not a technical question. I mean, do you plan to cover the workflow failure scenarios as well, especially how to restart in the event of failure?
Definitely I have to because we didn't do anything today. Yeah, I'm going to show you how to
Okay.
restart it. Okay. Don't worry about it. See, restart is very
Yes.
simple. Edit the tag. That's it. You got it?
I mean, I
Edit.
was wondering, so we have so many steps, right? So suppose if the second step failed, how to restart it? I mean, in the Python file you have showcased, there was no restart keyboard. So I'm wondering whether that capability is enabled or not.
Thought of showing it today, tomorrow. Did you see at the last? There is something.
Yeah,
Got it?
okay.
So imagine I have multiple steps, add steps, add step, add steps like that. Right? Imagine this is step 1, step 2, and everything. What I'll do, I'll add only the required steps. You got it? Okay, I'll start from step 2. I'll remove this. I'll start from step 1. You got it? Anyway, tomorrow I'll explain. Since you asked, I'm showing you. Yeah?
Okay, no issues. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Shiv?
Yes, I. So, in the airflow, we must be having something to orchestrate in parallel, right? So, will you be showing that as well
Panel. See,
tomorrow?
it's a DAG. See, what is DAG? It's a step-by-step process. If you have another flow, see, so what is simultaneous flow? I have 2 flows. Did you see final and project E2E? Right? We'll start together or schedule it together.
Okay. Now, in case of the scenario which you have told, right, wherein we were reading the data from 3 different sources. So these three sources can be done in parallel, right?
You can do it,
So that
but the risk element is, what if the data is very huge in one source? The resource allocation will be more to it, right? Basically,
that's for
If
sure. Yeah.
memory will be low. So if you still create a very powered cluster, put all three in a single object. I'm talking in single object. You got it? What I mean?
Yeah,
Single
yeah. Got it.
and trigger that. What this Spark will do, I trigger three actions. Three actions will be distributed among the cores and executors, but not recommended, because we will go step. This is not a streaming process, right? This is not a streaming. This is a batch process. Batch process means step-by-step process. DAG gets created. But if I create any parallel runs, that's where the problem starts. There is a resource utilization. You remember in the start of it also, I opened 3 Spark shells. In between, I killed some Spark shells. You remember? Memory was not available.
Yes.
You got it? Sure, what I mean.
Yeah.
I have to kill everyone, then I have to start. So when I run a parallel runs, there is a risk of resource utilizations to go away. So better to avoid in real time. Yeah.
Sure. Thanks.
Thank you. Folks, I believe only 40 folks are raising their hands, please, because those are only high priority, please. Go ahead, Venkat.
Yeah, hi, Sai. It's a generic question, not literally anything technical. That I'm still worried about the Hive, Sai, how to prepare on the Hive questions, or what will be asked in the interview. I don't know whether it's early to ask this, but
No, not early. It's on time, man. We are on time. We don't have hardly 2 to 3 days also. See, you have to revisit the revision. We have the phase 1
Got it.
revision. Remember scope and hide. Complete the revision. That hardly takes 1 hour. Secondly, complete the goal video questions of Hive. Number 3, whichever the topic you don't feel low confidence, watch that video. That's it. Got it?
got it. Sir. Yeah. So yeah, I got it now. Thank you.
One
Thank you
is
so much.
more than
Sir.
enough, actually.
Thank you.
More than enough. First start with goal video. Later on, you can see the reminder. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, completely good with just the technical things like how to use the codes. The codes are I cannot remember the codes from I have the codes remember for
Nobody
Spark,
asked
but
it,
yeah.
Venkat. Nobody asked it, but remember the pseudocode. Okay, create table name, row format delimited. Just understand. Just remember the pseudocode. That's enough, Venkat. Okay.
Got it. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. Surya.
Sai, sorry, I'm 39. Just one
Go
second,
ahead.
Sai. Difference between airflow and lambda. If we learned lambda, it's similar to that only. So I'm confused between
Lambda is an
doing
event-based
same.
triggers. Airflow is orchestration triggers. Lambda is an
The
event.
automation only, right?
An event. It's an event, basically. It's any event.
Okay, if some file is placed, then it trigger.
Yeah, not just file. Any API call happened, any file has been uploaded, like that. It's an event. If any change of event happens, it will start the work. Here it is not like that. Here everything is scheduled. We can orchestrate it. We can start. We can stop. It's kind of NiFi, partial
Okay.
NiFi. Got it?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
In addition to the same question, through the Lambda, can we create the cluster and all, or everything we need to execute on the Lambda memory itself?
Actually, why Surya asked this question is the same orchestration I handled to them without Airflow with Lambda. Got it, Gaurav? Same. Everything is same.
Okay.
Except I just removed Airflow and added it's there in the Zeyobyte channel also. I'll send you the link. And we are going to see that also.
Okay, sure.
We're going to see that also.
Sure.
Since you asked
Okay.
Yes,
And
I have seen the workshop conducted in Lambda.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Shikhar?
Sai, my question is when the airflow works, it started creating the cluster. So depending upon the data itself, the airflow created the cluster according to the capacity, or how?
I
How
gave the
it works,
capacity,
Sai?
right? I gave the capacity. See, I want which series cluster, what is the volume, what is the size, what is in GB. Everything is there here, right?
Okay, sir. And, and second question is like, okay, I'll ask you like separately on WhatsApp.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks.
Funny.
Sir, hi, sir. Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for everything, sir. I have shared last Sunday, but very lately my resume, but I am not given any schedule, sir. Can I ask this here, sir? I'm sorry. Sir.
Funny question is, because of few folks in batch who posted early than me, they gave me a horrible resumes to. Some
Oh,
reviews,
sorry, sir.
each resume took 10 minutes. So
Okay.
never happened with the before batches. It happened only to in batch 14. I told you, right? So
Yes, sir.
far,
That
we
is
approximately 270 to 280. We still
okay,
have
sir.
160 away, 160 resumes on place. So you are part of it. So wait for it, you'll
All
get your.
right.
Yeah.
Because last time when I was in the batch 35, sir, you completed it in 1 week, no, sir. So that is why I was afraid, sir.
Vishal?
But yes, I'm in your schedule, sir.
Vishal? Vishal?
Yes, I. So say this DAG file is similar like Terraform template something.
See, it depends. The question is, Terraforms comes under a how can I differentiate? I'm just thinking. See, Terraforms is not an orchestration, correct? Basically. See, DAG is a common word.
Right.
I have a Terraform DAG, I have an Airflow DAG, I have a Spark DAG also. Spark also works on DAG. You might have seen that in Spark QA there is a DAG, right? Start date and everything. See, DAG is a common word, but the use case is different. Terraform is not an orchestration DAG. It's a provisioning DAG. You got it? Basically. Terraforms is a provisioning DAG.
This is okay, and this template is defined like you have manually created it, or we can do
I
something,
downloaded
or
from
do they expect?
I downloaded the raw template from AWS, then I have to build it. It took 2 days to 3 days for me to build it and make it work with the permission, subnet, VPCs, S3 permissions,
So basically, this is under DevOps work, right?
DevOps work.
Real time.
Yeah.
Got
And I'm becoming a
Yeah.
DevOps slowly for that one. But anyway, yeah, DevOps work, I'm doing it.
Hopefully, you'll start DevOps
Me? Never.
training as well.
Never. I'll not start. Anyway.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Dheeraj? Dheeraj, are you from batch 40?
Yes, I am from 40.
Tell me, Dheeraj.
Sai, as we are moving for interviews going forward, so you mentioned that you will be sharing some Python related stuff as well, because I heard mostly they are asking of Python.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll
Sorry?
show you. Tomorrow I'll show you.
Okay, okay. Okay, thank you. So bit curious. So
Sai,
Tell
Sai,
me, it's a Bara.
yeah. Sai, why you are why we are not using Eclipse? Why we are using Spark Shell?
You remember the deployment session?
Yes, yes, sir.
What I did in the deployment section?
Deployment section in stage server we are using
The
Spark
production
shells.
cluster, we have the dev cluster. In the production
Dev
cluster,
cluster.
you cannot open Spark Shell. You can only run the jar.
Okay.
In the dev cluster,
Yes.
you can open Spark Shell and develop the code. Once you develop the code, where we'll put it?
Okay.
In Eclipse to generate the jar.
In Eclipse. Yes, yes.
Anything I have done today, I developed in Spark Shell, put it in Spark Eclipse, and I generated the jar. Correct?
My doubt is why we are clumsy Spark Shell using.
Spark
It's
Shell is
easy
just an
to-
environment. Spark Shell cannot give you a jar or P file.
Okay.
You commit to Git
it's
to
that
understand the
entire
compile.
code. We can also run in Eclipse software. Same thing.
How will I run it? If the data is sitting in S3, if the data is sitting in cluster, if I'm using a cluster, if
Okay.
my laptop will be gone, right? What am I doing here? I've created a cluster in the cloud environment itself, and I'm processing the
Okay,
data.
there itself only.
What if I have 100 GB of data or 200 GB of data? If I try to read the 200 GB and process in my local Eclipse, will my local laptop will suffice? No, right?
No, no.
That's the reason we are
Okay,
processing
got it.
everything. We're just using code repository, code integrations, code compilations, development environment. We're using Eclipse and local and putting it together.
Okay, okay, okay.
Thank you. I think Irfan is from batch 37. Irfan will hand it later. We need to sit with batch 40 as I told Irfan. Abhishek, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for today's class. Like, my question is from Gold video general questions. Like, you said about agile methodology and Jira board. So I have no knowledge about that. So shall I start learning about that, or we'll cover it in upcoming sessions?
It's very simple. See, if 2 weeks is a sprint. Scrum Master opens a Jira board. Then you start assigning the story. See, now I'm assigning a task for you, right? In note, I'm pinging the common group, right? Hey, do this. Correct?
Yeah.
Same, he'll upload in
Yeah.
Jira story. Hey, 2 weeks, you complete this work. Yeah, I'm giving you 2 weeks time. Daily, we have a call, Scrum call. You got it? Nothing else. They'll also you
Yeah.
can see you have to progress and put some comments, right? Hey, this is what I have done. This issue I'm facing. I'm working on it. You have to
Yeah.
outspoke it. That you'll put in the Jira board. Basically, nothing else.
Okay. Well, agile methodology.
This whole process known as Agile. This whole process, assigning a story, completing one each and every story, updating the comments, attending the Scrum calls, business discussions, what we call as Agile. They follow the Agile methodology. If you want, just see what is Agile methodology in YouTube. Just hardly 5 minutes video is enough. Okay, what Scrum Masters do in it. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Shantanu.
Sir, what is the difference between Spark and PySpark? I know I learned the Spark, but
Both are
what
same.
is
Both
the
are both are same.
PySpark?
Both are same. But
Yes.
the language which you use to trigger or declare is different. They're starting a PySpark session, other one and two. Not this week. The next week we're going to start. Okay, you'll
Yes, sir.
understand it
Okay,
better.
sir.
Thank you, Akash.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Akash, I have only 40 batch folks. Akash, what is it? Okay, no answer.
Can I ask Sai or wait?
Okay, go ahead, Akash. Go ahead, make it fast.
Yes, the integration it did, right? The DAG was reading from the AWS S3 location. How that is done?
It's automatically.
Oh,
When I'm creating Airflow itself, I asked you to watch that folder. That's it.
okay. When we're getting here for this option, like similar to
Yeah,
Lambda
just
function,
yeah,
what kind of thing?
we have an option to see which folder we have to watch. Yeah.
Okay. Is it in the DAG file or in the
While
Airflow part?
creating the move environment.
Okay, move on. Okay, then I'll further check on that later. So thanks.
Thank you. Irfan, go ahead, Irfan.
Hi, Sai. Sai, can we create a jar file on Python Python script as well?
Not a jar, it's a py file. I think you're a part of batch 37, right? While doing PySpark itself, I created one py file, right?
Okay, okay.
Yeah. We created one
Okay,
py
that's
file.
fine.
Please check on that, okay? Yeah.
Okay, okay. Then can we get this project deployable py file for the DAG?
You want to share? Yeah, I
Script.
share the entire automation. So I'll zip it and send you everything. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thanks.
Okay. Vikram, go ahead. Last question.
Oh yes, yeah. If you're doing any joins, that will be wider transformation only, right side.
No, join is wider, not narrow. Yeah, join. No. 1 second. Join is narrow.
Narrow.
Basically.
Okay.
Because shuffling will not happen.
Okay, sir.
Unless until you do a
Shuffling.
Yeah.
So if we go ahead with any group by, then only it will be the
Obviously,
wider, right?
correct. Any
Okay.
aggregations you'll see it. Eventually.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Akshay, go ahead, Akshay. Why are you raising hand in the last minute? Akshay, go ahead. Akshay is the last question. Go ahead, Akshay.
Yeah. Actually, once we are done with all the process, like you have run for 3 of jobs, right? So then what is the purpose of these job processing? And after what we did, like analytics through Power BI or
Business can do analytics. Business intelligence will create a reporting or a downstream systems will consume data.
our responsibility is just to up to the running the jobs, right?
Just a ETL pipeline, right? We create a pipeline and complete that.
Okay. Okay. And one more thing is, as you share the DAG file, right? So it's really different for every pipeline, right?
Sorry, come again.
Hello. Actually, I am saying, as you shown DAG file, right, for these three of jobs. So it's really different for any others jobs, or like same.
We have to customize the DAG accordingly. We have to customize the DAG accordingly.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Clear? Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye bye.